The Fanatic.
Good morning. Thought I'd help you wake up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're listening to The John Kincade Show, Philadelphia's longest-running sports talk morning show. On 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Let the party begin!
The show starts now.
Did I hear them just say on the news that we're going to have thunderstorms this morning?
Yeah, could be.
It's the change of seasons.
Here it comes.
And it's a damn good thing. We're all happy for it. Bring on the warmer weather, the later light at night. It's getting good. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hope your Thursday morning will be off to an amazing start. And our 6 a.m. sponsor is, as always, Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White's here for the pro. And the positive thought this morning, Bob, other than it was good that on a school night for me last night, I got to listen to a little of the Sixers on the way home, and then by the time I got in the door, I walk in the door and the graphics on the screen, and it's 17-0. That's the weirdest start I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when you can start a game 17-0, 21-1. Yeah, that was.
That's crazy though. Like, I mean, you covered the NBA for a long time. You've been a columnist and everything. Did you ever see? I don't ever remember that. That wild.
I covered the process, so there was a lot of 20, 30, 40, 50-point leads by the other team. A start like that, that's odd. That's weird. The Sixers were on fire early. Chicago couldn't make a thing. Frustration started setting in for them immediately.
Oh, yeah.
And, good win. Good win without James Harden. Joel Embiid goes out at half, doesn't come back. They're saying on the air it was because of point differential. But then the video comes out that he was grabbing his calf. So I don't know why the Sixers aren't honest and open about these things. It's crazy. But I will say this. They were very forthcoming, and it's, a lot of people have come out and said it that cover the team that he will be available for Friday night.
And there you go.
Okay.
So I'm not going to sweat that part of it.
No, not at all.
It was another, though, just dominant. This team, and I don't know the word, has a gear. Would that be it? Is that just too tired and too trite an expression? That when I don't want to say when they want to or when they're about it, but they know how to they can flip a switch. Now, the Bulls aren't the kind of team you're going to have to beat come playoff time.
No.
But still, that's impressive to do that against anybody. That was impressive.
Yeah, and if you, look deep into it, and I was seeing it last night as I watched, and the Sixers' defense was ridiculously good.
And your hands in the air thing.
There was, it was.
All over it.
Their switch defense was phenomenal. They talked really well. When we've seen how many times do the Sixers give up wide open threes, and it either comes from good ball movement, skip passes usually kill them, and dribble penetration and then kick outs. Usually it's kicked out to a wide open guy. None of that was available last night for Chicago. They rotated perfectly. They switched really well. When they dove into the lane being Chicago and the Sixers helped, they were still able to get out on shooters. I just thought their defense was absolutely terrific last night. And I think that was a big part of leading to them, besides being very hot shooting at the beginning, led to that, unbelievable lead that you're talking about.
They just look like they're under control playing defense.
Yeah, it was really good last night.
And applaud Tyrese, because Tyrese has worked very, very hard in improving that defense.
Yeah,
and
he has.
I mean, it is great. I'm not going to get too giddy over a win over the Bulls, Pat, but right now you pretty much I would say you've locked up the 3, and now your only chance is you're a half game, 1 win behind the Celtics with a game in hand. That's the only thing really left to play for the rest of this campaign. There's not much else.
I think you said it best. I mean, it's hard to kind of get giddy over a win against the Bulls, although they did it in really good fashion. The thing that I was excited about was the fact that they were able to get Embiid out of the game.
You and I both like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. You jumped out to such a huge lead that you're able to kind of get that dude out and rest whatever ailments he has, because we know at this point in the season he's got something he's dealing with. So, and even in 16 minutes, the dude went off for 12, 7, and 7. It was insane. So that was my big takeaway was, all right, stomp the opponent, an inferior opponent, have a little bit of a revenge game, and then get him healthy, because this West Coast trip they have, You're right, John. Like they're fighting for second place for all intents and purposes. So.
Yeah, I mean it's three games in 4 days coming up. You get and by the way, a Friday night Golden State game that makes me smile. Not a Tuesday night, not a Wednesday night, because I'm not staying. I can't stay up for that. I'll watch some of it, lay on the couch, and then DVR it. And then you'll usually have the DVR going in here in the studio when we hit those West Coast games. 2 games, one in the West Coast and then one in the Mountain Time Zone, Friday and Saturday. On a weekend night, you can enjoy a little Sixers basketball, especially when they're playing like this. It's a good acid test. Golden State and Phoenix coming up.
You know, there's 2 ways that I love when a game gets over. If these 2 things happen, I can come away a happy person with the 76ers. One, if they play defense the way they did last night, and I thought they were and not just, last night I thought they were terrific. Just play good defense. Play defense. Show me that you have that effect defensively on the other team. Check that box. The other one is ball movement. They had 30 assists on 39 field goals last night. That's terrific. Absolutely. And we saw it early, and John, you probably saw it a little bit when you got home. Like the second half was helter-skelter and all that stuff. But when the game was, on the line or early on first half, their ball movement was absolutely terrific. And Joel Embiid, he had a no-look pass over his left shoulder to a wing. I forget who it was. Might have been Melton or whatever. But it was just kind of a zip pass. He caught the ball at the top of the key, had his back to the basket, and it was kind of like, I'm not really looking, but I see you. And he threw like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Like, he threw a pass on a fast break where he was leading the fast break and hit a guy on the wing for a layup. I swear to God, I forget this guy's 7'2" sometimes, the way he can handle the ball. It was a good showing last night, and really everything was good. Harden got his rest. Embiid was able to sit out the second half. I thought Tobias Harris played well. Maxey, as you said, D'Anthony Melton played well. All boxes checked last night.
Yeah, it's a great one, and that's one I think they desperately needed, because again, too, you've won your 23rd game on the road, and I know I harped on it the other day, and I had one of the emailers asking me, he goes, "Are you making a little too much of the road?" I said no, because they're going to have home court advantage for 1, maybe 2 series if you get a better record than Denver. If you can get that. Now, by the way, you get that Monday game with Denver. So Monday night, you're going to be playing the Denver Nuggets, and we're going to be all over that one, because that's going to be one that all of the MVP voters are talking about. Did you hear the coach of Denver?
I loved it. Sorry to interrupt you.
Doing his diatribe on why are people being negative on these guys? Like, Jokic has gotten nothing but bootlicking media coverage for a few years. Now Joel Embiid's getting love, and this guy's pissed about it? Or is he?
I took it differently.
Okay, how do you take it?
I took it like, look, guys, there's many guys that could be an MVP in this league. But if you choose one, if you say, okay, I think it's Joel Embiid, it doesn't mean you have to rant and go off on a Jokic or a Doncic and pick out what they don't do well, or well, he sucks at doing this. I think he was just saying, let's be appreciative of everybody. And then at the end of the year, when the votes come out, whoever the winner is, great. They deserve it. And the other guys also had phenomenal seasons.
Where was his voice the last 2 years about Joel Embiid when Joel Embiid was the one getting trashed?
And
he had nothing to say about it. I mean, he really
eventually you say something. I mean,
but I looked this morning and goes, and I did look to go back and say, is his comments on Joel Embiid last year? Now, it was after they played Joel Embiid. He was fine, fine talent, incredible player with an incredible skill set. So, I mean, he was definitely complimentary, but he didn't go out of his way to be like, Joel Embiid has every right to be MVP too.
Yeah, it's funny that I took it different, because I think, look, the way I look at society, and we all know how society is now. It's a love-hate society.
Oh, yeah.
Either you love something and you have to hate the other thing. It can't be like, I like both, but I like this a little bit better. We're just not that way right now anymore. I think, and that's the way I feel. And I took it like, oh, wow, Mike Malone feels the same way I do. Like, okay, you're going to pick somebody that's great. It doesn't mean the other 5 aren't great also. There's no reason to put them down. If you think Embiid's the greater of these 5 this year, great, vote for him. But don't forget the other 4 have been really good too.
I found 2 headlines this morning before the show where he was being accused of openly campaigning last year for Jokic to get the MVP. And so it's like, he's campaigning for his guy, and now his guy's getting a little bit of grief. And Pat, I think his guys earned the grief. I think that I think he's gotten soft media treatment for 2 years. But I understand a coach standing up for his guy.
Yeah, I took it like Bob did. I think there has been a lot of negativity around the MVP voting where I got to trash this guy to kind of prop up my guy. So I took it like Bob. I didn't really think about your line of thinking with this, but you're probably not wrong with it. I don't, though, blame a coach for ignoring anybody else that's not his player. You know, if I was a player on that team, I'd want my coach to be fighting for my guys to get the MVP award.
Comment on me, Coach. Comment on my benefits, and don't pump up my opponent.
He has gotten, it seems like, very preferential treatment. Then again, you look at what he was able to do last year. He was doing stuff that no big man had ever done in the game before. So it's a little chicken and egg type of situation. Like, does he deserve the praise he's getting? I don't know. He doesn't play defense, but then again, he's doing stuff offensively that we've never seen before. With that said, he's trash bag juice, and Joel Embiid is the MVP.
How
you're being part of the problem?
That's an unbiased opinion.
Yes, exactly.
How new is this? Like what? How? Because when I was in the league, now granted, the Sixers didn't have an MVP candidate when I was covering the team.
They had
Ish Smith.
Yeah. But it wasn't all the cities that I went around, and they could be playing in LA against Kobe or wherever, playing against whoever. It was never like the talk around, who do you think the MVP is this year?
It's the 24/7 talk shows.
I know. When did this start?
Because it's the national talk shows. When you were covering the NBA, did they have 2 hour-long shows a day covering the NBA on ESPN? I don't.
Maybe.
I think they've amped it up. I think they've amped up their NBA. I think that's part of it. They're looking for stuff to argue about every day.
I just find it fascinating. Like maybe it was because there were more dominant players when I was covering. Like it was LeBron or Kobe mostly, and somebody else maybe sprinkled in. But I find it funny that throughout the year MVP is such a big talk, an individual award. And I've told you this before. The Hall of Fame, future Hall of Famer.
You hate that one.
I mean, my God, let the guys play their career first before we're talking about future Hall of Famer. It has nothing to do with what's going on here and now.
Well, I think John nailed it. It's the debate show.
It's the debate shows.
It went from news shows, everything on ESPN used to be nothing but a news show, to a debate show.
They would run SportsCenter.
You got to debate something.
Right, exactly. Over and over again.
Yeah, I used to sit there and have ESPN News in the background as I was combing MySpace for future ex-wives. That's what my Saturdays were.
Hey, Wawa's panini flavors are getting even bolder, like buffalo chicken with creamy mac and cheese. Try a new bold panini today. Gotta have a Wawa. Okay, I have to ask a question. A panini with creamy mac and cheese. You're getting filthy dirty eating that.
Yeah, so the panini, you squish it down.
So you squish a panini is squished, and it's creamy mac and cheese. Now, might just be an excuse for me to say I've got to try it, but I prefer a not creamy mac and cheese.
Yeah, I'm not a big mac and cheese guy.
Oh.
I know. I kind of hate myself for it.
What about a crusty mac and cheese?
Yeah, so Donna makes a really good homemade mac and cheese that has breadcrumbs on the top and it's crusty, and the kids love it. I am just not a mac. I like mac. I like cheese.
You just don't like mac and cheese?
I don't know. I just don't like them together. It's a fault of mine. I apologize, Pat.
Hey, seriously, Pat. He's terrible.
Wait, can you do the morning mind bender real quick? Because I'm anxious to know what it is.
In a recent survey, Coach says nearly 20% of Americans who've done this at least once in the past say they couldn't do it today if asked. I think I know the answer, Coach.
Yeah, it's probably because you turned over to the back page.
I did not do that on purpose.
All right, go ahead.
say it's a push-up.
Oh, wow.
That's a good guess.
It is a good guess. It's not right.
I was going to say do well in school.
Some of us didn't do well in school in the first place.
Yeah, good point.
Horrible guess.
Bob, no, that's not it either.
Okay.
I will go with
2 chicks at the same time.
Because it's tough in your old age to find 2 women that are willing.
It's not a bad one.
No, it's got to be something stupid,
Coach.
like pass a driver's test. Something stupid like that.
Well, by the way, everybody starting at 65 or 70 should have to pass the driver's test every 3 years.
Yeah, I agree.
And they don't do that.
I think he's reading the elevator,
What
Coach.
the flip, man?
Coach, what is it?
Whatever, Egan.
Did he screw you over?
I nailed it again?
No, he's looking at the back page till it past 3 days.
How about
What?
this, jackass?
It
Why
is
don't
take
you-
a driver's test.
Why don't you, if you're so worried about me cheating, put a fake answer on the back of mine, Give it to me and actually see if I'm
set him
cheating.
up. Set him up for it.
There's no way in heck that he knows that he knew that answer.
Set him up for
I
it.
say you
Go
did.
to
Way to go,
heck.
Pat.
How about
Coach.
that? Go to heck.
Coach, I think you're good. I don't know. Poor Pat. Getting
Good
accused
job,
of-
Pat.
Yeah.
Coach, set up Pat tomorrow and see if it's true.
Sorry, I'm not as dumb as you want me to be.
Pass a driver's test. I absolutely
Debatable,
believe that
actually.
as I drive every day on the Schuylkill. I'm convinced. Yes.
I could pass my driver's test.
I could also.
I have parallel parking down pat.
What about your rules of the road?
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's not hard.
Because you have to take the computer test too.
Oh, yeah, that'd be okay. See, I just passed a driving test like 5 years ago because I became a certified, what do you call it?
Instructor, right?
What?
Instructor?
Yeah, certified driving instructor. So I had to take a written
What?
test and I had
Yeah.
to take a physical test and I had
Why?
to because my buddy down the street had his own business and he was like overmatched with all the business that he had. And I said, well, in the off season when I'm not covering the Sixers, I'll
That's
have
an
some time.
awesome thing.
Yeah.
No, Kenny Adelberger, who you
I
probably
have
know
no
from
idea.
Prison
Yeah,
Sports
sure.
back in the day, and now NBC Sports Philadelphia. Kenny taught every one of my nephews to drive.
Is that right?
Yes.
Nice.
Can you imagine Kenny Adelberger trusting him to teach him to drive, and they all drive well, which is
I didn't
great.
have a
So-
driving teacher.
I did not either.
We can tell.
You know who I had? Tom Kincade. And my dad, who was, I think, rather intense at times, put his hand out the window, sat there in the front seat, and said nothing. Had no fear on the roads. Now, the man was shot down in a plane in World War II, so I guess there were scarier things he'd done. He had his hand out the window, totally relaxed, never said a word. Driving with my mom in the car,
Oh, that.
and
yeah,
my
that
mom was
bad.
my mom was by far the cooler parent. The more, not a lot of rules, just don't screw with her rules. My mom, horrible in the car with you.
Yeah, she's.
Wait, slow
thing.
down a bit.
My mom's really, really bad in the car.
Oh,
Neither one of my parents said a word. Not
didn't-
one word. You know why? Because neither one of them drove and we didn't
There
have a
you go.
car, so I had no way to practice.
I just had my buddy. Like, my buddy just let me drive his car. I went, took the test, one shot.
Nice.
Done.
okay.
Congratulations on your success,
I have
Pat
skills.
Egan.
Okay, I don't need your ass, Bob. How about that?
I love it.
Teaching me how to drive.
I had to go over somewhere in media to take it. I remember that.
Yeah, I went to the Grand Aroma Mall.
Yeah, I think that's where
Yeah.
like over that area is where I took
Uh-huh.
it. And I'm glad that I learned. Hey, the NCAA tournament resumes tonight. 1 week away from the Phillies opener and our hangout at the Doylestown PJ Wellahan's for opening day. Plus, Business Week had a piece that is going to be a theme throughout the course of the show today. We'll talk about it next. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on The Fanatic. Head into your local PJs to catch all the tournament action. Bob's going to find at least one or two excuses to get in this week. Tons of TVs, great bars featuring $15 Miller Lite buckets for the entire tourney. Why would you go anywhere else than your local PJ Wellahans? The next 4 days,
It's a good
the
point.
Sweet 16 comes together.
It was my happy thought this morning before I hit the floor. I got to tell you, that was one of the more wild breaks that we just had. Okay?
Okay.
So we know that Connor comes in sometimes and, a little bit of a down mood, tired, whatever it may be.
I had to separate myself from him this morning because I felt it.
Well, this morning I went to have a catch with him, and he wouldn't even catch the ball. He just kept looking at me. It would hit him in the chest, and he wasn't in the mood. So I go out during the break, and Mike must have cheered him up because they're out there playing. And you know how Connor gets in a real good mood? How about if he hits home runs back-to-back off of Mike? So now Connor's jumping through the roof. Then I come in here, and you show me a video of yourself from 1986.
Yeah, the Chet Coop, who I used to work with, dug up video. He dug up video of, he found me from a video, and I think it's from, I'm guessing 86, 87. And it was before our softball championship game, me taunting our opponents before the championship.
I almost want to call Connor in here for a second because I might have to call Dirty Laundry on this.
What is no? I retweeted it so anybody can view it if they wish.
Oh, let's
and Chet,
air out
thank you for
our
this.
dirty laundry.
Well, I mean, let's think about softball. Let's think about Connor playing and the way we make fun of him of his hard-ass attitude. Okay?
Oh, I didn't have hardness. I had clown attitude.
Hold on.
Yes.
Now, John's getting ready to play. I kind of need a jury on this. John just shows me video during the break of him as a spry 20-plus-year-old.
21-year-old
before
John.
a softball game. And not only is he talking smack, he also plays and mouths, and I think probably sang, God Bless America before the game.
On a boombox.
I think I'll take Connor's hard-ass attitude as opposed to the
soft-ass.
Kate Smith wannabe over here. Connor,
did you get
Any
to
judgment
review
here?
the video yet?
I haven't, but are we serious?
We'll put
he's
it.
got video of himself from 21.
You're singing the anthem before the game.
It was I think it was the 87 Flyer season. So it would have been right around then, and they brought a boombox, and it was the championship softball game, and I was mocking our opponent, and Chet found it on video. I didn't even know this video existed until he posted it to social media this morning.
See, that's a violation. I just show up and I just play the game.
And
I
take
don't say
walks.
anything to the other team.
Oh,
I
you
try
see,
and win.
that
Would you rather take walks or would you rather have some joker from the other team singing a bad version of the national anthem before you have
God
to play
Bless America.
Connor, I'm about fun when I play like softball because I know that it's just mediocre athletes out there playing softball.
How many people was
Connor
that fun
said
for?
Oh, it was
I've
a lot
heard
of
you
fun.
sing.
Connor,
Good point on that one, Connor.
Okay.
Connor, it's way
Screw
worse
you.
because you know that you're getting it from the worst player on the team.
Excuse me?
Like
That was not true.
you weren't the
that
worst
was-
player.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely. What are you talking about?
I was talking about?
How about this?
Ooh.
I was middle of the road.
Okay.
Middle of the road.
Okay.
Like around a 6. Probably batting like 6.
I can tell you, usually the guy that's doing this is by far the worst player on the team.
It was the person who was bringing fun to the event.
That's one way to put it.
Little
I
bit of
bring, I
fun
bring
to the
fun
event.
by scoring
I think my
runs
buddy
and winning
Joe,
games.
Bob, you know my buddy Joe. I think Pat's met him too. He would bat leadoff, and he was pretty intense, like you, Connor.
Yeah.
He was intense about softball. Take the extra base.
Well, he had to make up for
He
Captain
tracked
Anthem
everything
over
down.
here, who's singing in between innings.
It wasn't in between
Had to
innings.
carry the load.
It was the
Did you do the 7th inning stretch too?
It was. I did not. That's not a bad
Take
one though.
me out to
It's
the
weird though.
softball
Do you
game.
see that is video? Like, would you ever imagine like video surfacing of you that you never knew existed? I am glad. Like, there's some certain video that you're glad didn't.
It wasn't
Careful.
singing before a softball game, I'll tell you that. If there is
Bob
some.
was taking videos. I mean, seriously, this thing works out well. So
Yeah, all right.
there you go. Thanks, Chet. Thanks for the morning wake up there. Appreciate it big time.
Connor, you just became more manly in my softball book.
That's all it took.
Yeah, that's all it took.
Hey, 1 week away from the Phillies season opener, and Ranger Suarez is really the only headline. Ranger Suarez won't start the season. That's not good. That already, you taking a ding to your rotation right off the bat.
Yeah, it sucks because Connor and I have kind of been going back and forth on this off air about the Phillies and the pitching and stuff. And I think he said something a few weeks ago, and I came right back with, it wouldn't surprise me if he turns out to be, I don't want to say their ace, but if he has maybe the best season of the big three. Big three meaning Wheeler and Nola, and then put Suarez in there. I was really looking for him to have her. And look, it still could happen. We're talking maybe a couple of starts, hopefully, whatever. But it is disappointing to start the season like this, to have an arm down. You do have multiple days, as we know, when the season begins. The days off are kind of a common. So hopefully it's nothing big. But, yeah, anytime you get a starting pitcher and it's that, and you're like,
it's not good.
Damn it.
Hey, Business Week did a story on athletes being able to cash in at the collegiate level with the new NIL policies and how much guys are making before they become pros. Did you know Bijan Robinson made over $2 million?
Congratulations on his success.
That I never knew that guys were going to make $2 million. He had his Bijan mustard.
That's pretty good.
He has his own brand of mustard with his face on it.
Not bad.
And it also, University of Texas, it was the official mustard of University of Texas, and they put it in the stadium so you could go do your Bijan mustard. They reported, though, how likability factor affects the ability to earn. How much do you personally find yourself, as a fan, affected by likability?
Well, I think everybody...
I don't think...
I was going to say everybody likes likability.
Was Kobe likable?
Probably not to a lot of opponents or opposing fans. Right. It takes a while sometimes for a fan to appreciate. Okay, you can get to a point, like I used to talk to athletes about this all the time. You get to the league, then you get in your prime. At what point do you come reflective? Elton Brand and I had a long talk about this one time. You get to be in your 30s, 31, 32. It's just not the same as when you were 20, 21, and 22.
Oh, it's definitely not.
And it's more of you still want to be, obviously, that competitive guy. You still want to be one of the, as good as you can be, as great as you can be. But at some point in life, as a professional athlete, I believe you become reflective. And it's like, so when does that happen as a fan? I can watch a guy come into the league and he might be killing it. And you're like, yeah, but he doesn't do this. He's on the other team. I can't stand it. Kobe Bryant like. Maybe a LeBron James like. But at some point when greatness stays there, an appreciation, I think, also comes to an opposing fan. And when that happens, I think likability then becomes more real.
Pat, where are you on likability? Does it matter to you at all? As a sports fan?
I mean, if you're not on my team, it's going to be hard for me to like you. But there are athletes that I do like that aren't in Philadelphia. So for Kobe necessarily, the revisionist history with Kobe is incredible.
Oh, it's incredible.
Like, when that dude was playing, nobody really liked him, except Lakers fans.
Yes.
And then the guy that were like Connor Thomas at the YMCA pickup game, they loved Kobe because they were trying to bring the Mamba mentality. But and I'm not saying he wasn't popular, but he was also very, very hated by a lot of people, myself included. So I think with college though, likability doesn't really matter. It's all about skill. Like. Then again, a guy like Grayson Allen had skill, but I don't see him. If he were in college today, he's not getting a lot of NIL deals. Bijan Robinson, I didn't hear anything about his personality. He's just a really good player, so he's of course going to benefit from NIL. You really just have to not get in trouble and be an a-hole.
The thing is, you're going to find out about his personality because going into the story, he has a great personality. This guy, it sort of wonder maybe with that second pick in the first round. Late in the first round.
Maybe.
I'd be in on it.
Yeah.
I really would.
It's funny, being in the business that we're all in, we get to see different sides of players often. And, as you said, John, and rightly so, a lot of people didn't like Kobe. I think a lot of it was killer mentality that he had, whatever it may be. When I had people come on, Kobe's a jerk. Hold on a second. There was this one time they came to Philly, and they had a shoot-around in the morning, and they got on the bus and were ready to leave, and I was standing there wanting to talk to him after the shoot-around. and he stopped the bus and saw us stand there. It was actually me and D. Lonham, and saw us standing there, stopped the bus, and ran off the bus, said, "I'm sorry, guys. Did you need me?" And we're like, "Yeah," and then stood there for 10 minutes and talked to us. Like, to me, that's a good person.
I would agree with you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there are...
Especially if he sees you.
It's
Like he
hard-
sees it and doesn't pass.
I say this all the time. It's hard to pick up somebody's personality in 48 minutes of basketball, 60 minutes of football, 9 innings of baseball, 3 periods of hockey. You know, there's other parts to that person that obviously a lot of us don't know anything about. So, likability, though, I want to like people. I look to like people. You have to do things for yourself to become unlikable to me, and I'm pretty wide open with that. I said to one of my bosses one time, he asked me about somebody. I said, yeah, I can honestly say that's probably one of the only people on this planet I don't like.
You shouldn't have said that to Chuck.
No. This was an old boss.
I was right in the next room.
Yeah, this was an old boss. But yeah, I think likability, I think it's important in all phases of life.
We're going to talk about likability today in the course of the show a little bit more. In a variety of ways, the way it affects Philly sports, and not only Philly sports, but sports overall. But first, in Cooney's Corner, these final games, there's good, there's bad, there could be ugly.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's Corner.
I almost want to propose to start a new segment in these last 10 games, John.
What's that?
And I should do it in our terrific meetings that we have after the show that are just so full of juice and energy and happiness. I was going to propose after every Sixers game, let's do a great, good, and not so good. Break it down like this, a little segment of great, good, and not so good. So last night, the great. I thought their defense was absolutely tremendous.
It was great.
And if you look around, don't just look at the 91 points or the bad shooting that Chicago had last night. Look at their rotational defense. The Sixers, we've talked perimeter defense all year. It hasn't been good. Last night, it was terrific. Rarely was there an open shot for Chicago to have. And I think it's been a concentrated effort for a month or 2 months now with Doc Rivers. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
You and I had good conversations about it off the air also. I just think it's something that they're really concentrated on. The good, I thought they moved the ball really well. It was really good the way they moved it last night. 30 assists on 39 baskets, but it was, I'm open, but you are more open. Greg Popovich, Brett Brown, they used to have a saying, good to great. I might have a good shot, but let me pass it to the great shot. Good to great. It's something that they say endlessly. Last night, the Sixers, they were good to great so many times. The not so good, well, you have to look at what's the calf thing with Joel Embiid? This isn't bad. It's just, that's not so good.
And it had nothing to do with their performance.
No.
Which is good. If your bad thing is that.
Yeah, it was great. He grabbed the calf. You're up 30 points. Okay, you're done for the night. I have no problem with that.
And Joel tends to be a little dramatic sometimes.
Yeah, of course he does. The not so good, James Harden having to sit out another game. But at the beginning of the night, I don't know if you probably didn't because you were teaching. Kate Scott said that, and this is almost verbatim, yeah, James Harden's out with that foot, a very minor injury. She was told that by the team that it's a very minor injury.
She wouldn't run with it if that wasn't what she was told.
That not so good that he didn't play or that there's concerns there, but that brings it back to good. Okay, if it's not that bad of an injury, if it's a minor injury, as Kate said, okay, good. Moving forward, good. So there's your great, good, not so good synopsis of the Sixers game last night.
Pat, I like it when the bad part of it, not so good, is something that isn't about their actual performance. It's just about maybe being dinged up.
Yeah, it's hard to really complain about their performance last night.
Exactly.
At one point they had a football score of 17-0, so it's really hard to complain about that. But yeah, they're dinged up, and I feel like most teams at this point of the season probably are dinged up. Joel Embiid's played, I'd have to look, but it's got to be getting up there close to the most amount of regular season games he's ever played in his career.
I think he's going to play close to 70.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
He's never reached this mark before, so I'd expect him to be dealing with some things. James Harden's getting up there in age. I'd expect him to be dealing with some things, which he is. So to be able to rest those guys, to be able to play Joel Embiid, basically, a 14, 15-minute game, whatever it was, and get him out of there, that's a positive.
I'll say this to Kate's analysis, though, from before the game. It's a very minor injury if he's back Friday night. If Harden's not playing Friday night, then I'm going to disagree with the assessment.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
It's a very minor thing, and if he's out again Friday, let's hope not. Let's hope not. We're looking for good things out of James.
Yeah,
Wow.
I agree.
I like that. Let's do that. Let's do that.
The great, the good, and the not so good.
Well, we'll pick it up again Monday after a couple more weekends, a couple more games this weekend.
Yeah,
Friday
So
and
Monday
Saturday.
we'll have a couple of games that we can do it for, so it'll be good. Yeah,
Little analysis of it is, but there's nothing to complain about last night.
I love this time of the year. Getting ready to playoffs, you get to see what your team's really about, and hopes or a little depression going into the playoffs, whatever it may be.
With no local teams in it, is some of the luster taken off tonight and tomorrow? Or
a little bit, but I'm excited. I'm very excited. This is the round where you're supposed to equal 5.
Yes.
1 versus 4, 2 versus 3s. You have one of them tonight. You have a 3-2 in Gonzaga and UCLA. But other than that, you don't. And I like that. I like the ups. I do. I like watching the underdogs. I like watching these kids just play there. I love the NCAA tournament. I fell back in love. Not that I was out of it, but I was kind of, mediocre, as I explained on this show before the tournament started. I didn't. No. But, I'm back in love. I just loved watching last week. I like I said, I fell back in love, and it's awesome. I can't wait for tonight. The thing that sucks is UCLA Gonzaga at 9:45.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy. Both schools are located on the West Coast. It's 6:45.
Yeah, I'm not on the West Coast, so it's crazy.
Oh my God, I'm not on the West Coast. Well, then move out there.
No, it's just it doesn't have.
All right, I'm moving out there.
It's that they can do whatever they wish. It's that seems a little rare.
If the roles were reversed and we were on the West Coast and you had 2 West Coast schools and that game started at 7:00 East Coast time, 4:00 our time, we'd be sitting there going, "This is dumb."
I think there should be 7 and 9.
I'd be.
That's
fine
a
with
4:00 start and a 6:00 start.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but I'm also not going to get pissed off about the fact that that game starts at 9:45 when we have the luxury of having our games start usually when we want them to.
I understand.
West Coast games should cater to the West Coast start, which, like, if we start at 7:00 here, we shouldn't get mad when they want to start at 7:00 out there.
No, it's the idea though is that you're trying to appeal to the largest audience possible for your sport.
Yeah, I get that,
and that doesn't do it.
But you'd argue that the largest audience for that game would be West Coast.
That is correct. That absolutely is. That would be where it would fall on. I think you can turn your mic off on that one. I mean, you made a great point. You did a good.
I'll see you tomorrow.
He did a good one there. So, all right, coming up, Pat's got a point of view about Howie and trust. I'm not sure that I ever thought I'd be hearing this out of so many people's mouths. The trust of Howie Roseman. We'll get to more of that coming up. Thanks for joining us, John Kincade Show, here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
You know, the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app is fantastic, especially during the tournament action. Live in-game wagering and more. Check it out now. Go to betparks.com. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Ohio. And you can keep it. So keep rolling with that. I saw again last night. I was a little surprised that I saw on ESPN yesterday the story where Jimmy Garoppolo has been offered free sex for life, Pat. It made even ESPN's talk shows. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm guessing, has had free sex for life.
Well,
and I would bet he probably has pick of the litter of women wherever he goes. If he goes to the beach, if he goes on vacation, if he goes to a game, if he goes to freaking McDonald's.
Well, we all go through a dry spell. And sometimes you need a slump buster. And 34 years for me. And Jimmy might be probably his slump's probably a little shorter than that.
Yeah, I think they're pretty short.
But it doesn't hurt to have options, is what I'll say. It doesn't hurt to sit there and be able to go at a whim. You know, hey, I could just swing by here, and in 7 minutes I'm in, I'm out.
Oh, now it's 7 minutes. Yesterday you besmirched Jimmy. You said 3 minutes and he'd be
because he's got to probably do the lineup, pick the girl.
So that's starting from the national anthem to the end of the game is the 7 minutes. Is basically what you're saying.
Get your shots.
Call an Uber.
Get your shots.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out.
To whom?
I don't know if you guys got this, and maybe I'm offline doing this. Mike from Delran, our buddy.
I saw Mike from Delran last week.
Did a comedy bit that he sent me last night.
He's been taking class.
Oh, my God. Talk about killing it. I'm sitting there last night, and he sent me a text. And I open it. He sent it yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to look at it till last night. I'm sitting on my couch, and I watch it, laughing my ass off.
And he has to write his own material.
He was terrific. So he says he's going to be going up again, I don't know, sometime around. So, well, keep me posted. If I can make it over, I might come and see. He did a 5-minute bit. And just a shout-out, because Mike's a good dude, very good friend of the show.
Was it clean?
Oh, God, no. It was dirty as hell.
Okay.
But hysterical. I mean, dirty because there was cursing and, whatever.
I was thinking, is it something that we could use here?
No.
Now, Mike, we can't do that.
But just a shout out. There's so many people that we meet through this,
That's
John,
funny.
and they're so, they're such good people, and you learn different avenues of them. Yeah, I was really impressed with Mike, and congratulations. It's something he wants to pursue, so good luck to him.
Yeah, I saw him the other day at Parks, and he was talking about it, that he's taken, he took the class.
Yeah, he was. I'll show it to you on one of the breaks.
It's not easy to be able to do that.
Mad respect to anybody who gets up there and does that.
And he couldn't have been more comfortable. He was just terrific. I was so happy for him.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
In Pat's point of view, I can't believe it. He's going to use Howie Roseman and the word trust in the same sentence.
This is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
Changed up too.
Yeah, that kind of got deeper.
Coach didn't like the horns.
Okay.
He was done being horny. So
a lot of our listeners didn't either. So good job by Coach.
I loved it.
Wow, Bob, that hurts.
No, the horns. They love you. The horns, they didn't appreciate that.
I like that
Some
music.
people aren't all horned up, all right, like I was. Anyway, we'll move on to the actual topic at hand. Howie Roseman, guys, we don't really have a choice, but at this point of the year, you have to have faith in Howie Roseman. And I'm just not saying blind faith. I'm going on a sustained track record. And, Bob, you laid it out perfectly yesterday, but this guy works wonders during this time of the year, during the second wave of free agency, right before the draft, and especially after the draft, of being able to get guys that don't have a team, being able to maneuver the trade market, and bring in guys like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who are on the last year of their contract. The team that they have now will definitely not be the team that takes the field week one. He will still be able to work some magic and whatnot. And we should have faith in the guy because he's done it year in and year out. He's been able to find value out there and take advantage of the fact that people do want to come here. C.J. Gardner-Johnson wanted to stay here. They just moved on from him. That story's out now. They were like, yeah, dude, we offered you a long-term contract and you said no, so we moved on. And That's it. So people do want to come here, and I think he's going to take advantage of the fact that this offensive line's really good. So you're going to have running back options if you don't take Bijan Robinson in the first round. You're going to have defensive end options of guys just ring chasing because this is one of the best teams in the NFC. Like, he's going to work some Howie magic, and we should have faith.
This sounds like a Disney Channel theme song to one of their sitcoms. The music. Seriously.
I thought you meant what Pat was saying.
Seriously.
It sounded like a
Pat,
Disney.
I like what you say, but I'm going to ask you this. I haven't seen Howie sustain anything yet.
What do you mean?
Well, whenever he has those great seasons where he totally gets that level of trust from us, it does tend to take a step back, if not a significant step back. And I'm not saying I don't trust him to. I think he's going to maneuver the cap extremely well. I'm very worried about him maneuvering the draft well. I don't know.
What's more impressive, sustaining a team that went to a Super Bowl and won it and be competitive every year, or having such division that you had to get rid of the coach, quarterback, a litany of coordinators,
right?
Or coming back 5 years later and doing it all over again with a whole different crew.
Well,
you're looking for sustainability. I think it's more impressive that they had to rebuild and got to the ultimate game in just 5 years.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I mean, that is really, really tough to do, and the facelift that he had to do, he totally revamped this entire team.
Some of that was because of his own doing, though, right?
It is.
The fact that he committed to Carson Wentz without understanding Carson Wentz and giving him that huge contract.
But solved it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
But he's the one who lit the house on fire, and then he got the hose.
This is Howie's career in a nutshell, and I'm glad we're done. Isn't it? I mean, a year and a half ago, fire Howie. A year later, oh, my God, he's executive of the year. This has been exactly what Howie Roseman's been. We're sitting here right now talking about sustainability or rebuild. Which one was better? Which one was worse? I don't know if that's the normal way a GM's job goes, the up and down, but nobody does the up and down better than Howie.
Well, I know Andy is
like
not.
That, Pat?
I know Andy is not a. For a lot of people around here, they will argue that he's not a gold standard, but he is just. His franchises tend to sustain.
Yeah.
And tend to just have long-term stability. Pencil them in for 10, 11 wins every year. I want to see a little bit more. And it's the draft where Howie concerns me. His work with the cap is next level. Next level excellence.
Well, you're going to find out about last year's draft this coming year, obviously.
And I'm a guy who roots for both of those players to greatly succeed.
There's three of them. Don't forget Cam Jurgens.
Yeah,
I know he didn't go to Georgia.
I know, but I didn't know Cam Jurgens' career until the night he was drafted.
Right. And
I didn't really know Cam Jurgens' career. So.
I find myself rooting for him not only because, he's an Eagle, but because it was kind of the first draft of Jason Kelce.
Yep.
So here we go. Let's see how he is. Yeah, I'm anxious to see those three guys and then to see what he does in this draft this year because there's a myriad of ways he could go.
I'm loving this year's draft's going to be amazing. If it wasn't Kansas City, I'd want to go, Pat.
You know, is it because they won the Super Bowl or is it just you don't like Kansas City?
No, I mean, I'm anxious for the draft, but no, I don't want to go to Kansas City. I've been to Kansas City numerous times.
Yeah. I haven't. I don't think. I've never been to Kansas City. I want to go.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah.
I have a couple museums I'd like to check out.
Museums?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had museums.
In Kansas City? Every city has a museum.
Well, they had in Kansas City, they had the Negro League Baseball Museum.
Yeah, that's the one I want to check out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good one. Yeah. It really is. It doesn't take you... it's not like one of those day trips type of thing. It's really cool though.
Yeah,
I just think
barbecue. I like barbecue.
I'm not big into Kansas City or St. Louis. Both of those cities.
St. Louis I've been through quickly, nothing major.
Kansas City,
I've never
St.
spent
Louis,
time in
Houston. Houston, I'm not digging.
Houston's too spread out for me, and there's pockets of it that are okay that I like. But yeah, the playing area is far away from the city, far away from the good spots to play.
Does that matter to you when visiting a city, Pat? I mean, like if you're, like I think they're gonna do the draft in the. I don't know if they're gonna do it in the Chiefs parking lot. I'm sure our boy Vince Rizzuto may know.
Yeah, he definitely knows because he has a trip headed out there. So if you want to go see the Eagles take 2 picks, you can hit up Philly Sports Trips. But I don't know where they would do it. I'd assume Kansas City probably has a lot of open land.
It does. Well, that
What do they
complex,
got going
the
on?
stadium complex area is immense. So there's a lot of open land
Yeah, so there you
around
go. Just do it there, I
when you
guess.
go to the Chiefs.
And the Royal Stadium, I believe, is like right across the parking lot. So, you can do the NFL draft.
I think
maybe
they
go
just
catch a
renovated
baseball
that.
game.
I wonder if there is a Royals game around the same time. They may have had the Royals make sure they were out of town or something.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd probably be smart.
Hey, 7 a.m. hour brought to you by the all-new Bet Parks app. You got the tournament beginning tonight, the Sweet 16, the next 2 nights. Get in and wager at Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Ohio. You got to be 21 years old. So we talked a little earlier about that likability factor when it came to college players being able to get NIL, how they were perceived. If I'm going to just give you the top 3 major sports teams in Philadelphia. So you are only allowed Eagles, Phillies, Sixers. How would you rank them in likability? Because I believe the way we would have ranked them 1 year ago today is completely different than we're ranking them today. Likability of the franchises. Eagles, Sixers, Phillies.
And I'm being honest here. I'm not trying to confuse this. Are we talking personalities of players, likability?
You got to look at it as the collective.
Okay.
Everything.
So as good as they are, talent, likability of players.
You're not looking at talent. You're looking at likability of, do you like the players? Do you like the management? Do you like their uniforms? Do you like the stadium experience? It's not about their talent. It's about likability of all these different things coming into play. Because I believe a year ago, Pat, we would have said the Phillies are last.
Oh, no, I would have said Flyers are last.
No,
Well,
Flyers
we're not
aren't in.
counting them.
No,
So-
they have to be in. They're last.
No,
That's why they're last.
They're only 3. That's why
That's a
they're
given.
last. So that way we don't have to bother with dealing with them. It's just the 3. It's
But-
Sixers, Phillies,
yeah.
Eagles. A year ago, I think we would have
guess they
said
would have been
Phillies.
last, but for me, it's the Phillies would have been last, but it's not really a clear indictment of how I feel about the Phillies. Like, I think that they have one of the best owners in baseball. I think they have a beautiful ballpark. I just think that the team was frustrating because they hadn't gotten over the hump yet.
This city did not
And-
like the Phillies last September.
No, they didn't. I mean, but
They
I'm
didn't
not
even
part
come
of
out in
that
a
group.
pennant race
Well,
to
yeah.
support them.
Well, I don't know. Joe Girardi, I think, had a lot to do with it. There wasn't a connection between him and the
Right.
and the
And
players,
that was the
let
year
alone
ago
the
thing.
fans.
Right.
I'll say this right now, that the Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies are all well above average in my book as far as likability goes. I love the Phillies. Like we talked about it. We love that Middleton is standing there greeting fans when they come
Love
in.
it.
That's cool. Kyle Schwarber seems to be a really good dude. Bryce Harper, those guys just seem relatable. And that's what fans are looking for. Are they relatable? Do we know who they are? So I think the Phillies and Eagles are right up there together. And the Sixers aren't. They're further behind because people love Maxey. People can really relate to him. But Embiid's been here for a while. Harden really, sometimes veterans don't really care about relating
And
to
I
fans.
don't think he's connected
And that's fine.
with the fan base, but he's a hell of a player.
And he wants
That
to win.
doesn't
Yeah,
affect
exactly.
him being a player, right?
Yeah, so I think I'd go Phillies, Eagles are like, right. I might go Phillies / Eagles, like put them on
Like
the
put 'em
same
at the-
line. And then I'd put the Sixers not tied, second or third, however you do that.
I put
Whatever.
Eagles number 1 just because, but it's very, very tight. But just because of the fact that the Eagles dominate this market.
Yeah, I
They
think you probably have to put them number 1
Because they
of that
dominate.
reason.
People like them, right? I mean,
Well, it's people are going to come out no matter what for the Birds, win or lose. I mean, they haven't really had a ton of down years, but when they do, people still come out. Phillies, you can't really say that about. Sixers, you can't really say that about. But the likability thing for me, I mean, Joel Embiid is extremely likable. A lot of people still don't like Doc Rivers, though.
yeah, he's got
a
it.
lot of people. Like I heard about it this weekend. I was talking to a buddy about the Sixers, and he said, "Yeah, I just wish they had a coach." I mean, he still, for whatever reason, hasn't won over a large portion of this fan base. I think there's a large portion of the fan base that thinks that the Phillies just got lucky.
I wish
They
people.
lucked out on a lot of things.
Yeah, I think a lot of people still don't like Howie Roseman, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're still. And
You
that's
know?
why I was asking last week. Could we finally put all the Howie slander to bed? I mean, Howie Roseman, you may not believe he's the best general manager in football, but can we at least say he's freaking spectacular. He's one of the handful of the best.
Nope.
And I find it so absurd. Hey, he didn't draft Justin Jefferson. From guys who never even knew Justin Jefferson before he was drafted.
When people have great years and down years, which athletes do, coaches do, general managers do, yeah, it's great to applaud them for their great years, but you still have to let them know when they've had their bad years. If Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, if these guys don't turn out, if these guys don't turn out to be starters, well then no, Howie goes down a notch again. It's that roller coaster that I'm talking about. You know, he's always going to be on the fire, and sometimes it's good cooking and sometimes it's burnt. And, you know, that's just what the job entails. And right now he's riding the high. They went to the Super Bowl. He made some great signings, some great trades. We're still worried about last year's draft. We'll see what he does in this year's draft. And moving forward, yeah, he's still on that fire.
It's weird because I had a conversation with someone telling me you were the biggest advocate for drafting Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis. I said, yeah, I was. I said, I think it was great. And they're like, well, why are you doubting it now? I said, because I haven't seen anything yet. I'm not just going to be a blind loyalist and say, because I wanted both players to be drafted and come on here and make excuses. I want to see both of them succeed, but it's going to be a lot. They got a lot to prove. Both
Who
of
do
them.
you have more confidence in to show you something this year that says you, thank God.
Davis by a mile. And it's no knock on Nakobe. I think the skill set, body of Davis, and position, I've seen him dominate the highest level of college football at that position. Nakobe, I'm worried about the size. And that's the difference. Is Jordan Davis dominated college football with his size, with his athleticism. That translates to his position in the NFL. Nakobe Dean dominated in college. But that human missile that he is, there may be ways in the NFL that you game plan against it, where you take him out of things.
Yeah,
because of his size. So that to me. But the thing is, I'm not just going to be a blind loyalist because I like the kids and I'm glad that they got drafted. I'm gonna say it. Look, they're both on the clock, and by the way, they put a lot of pressure on them.
I don't know why. I have more confidence that this year Nakobe Dean is going to make you feel better than Jordan Davis.
What about you, Pat?
I think that Nakobe Dean and his size, it does play a factor. Like you said, John. Something tells me that kid's going to be a stud.
I love
and it might just be blind loyal. Like, it might just be the fact that he was pegged to go in the first round. They got him in the third. You want every fan base loves finding the diamond in the rough. And we're no different.
Oh, yeah.
And I think finding a guy in the third round that had a first round tag on him speaks. And when he didn't play, the unknown factor, you saw a little bit of Jordan Davis. He didn't play poorly, but wasn't a world beater.
He did not make a real impact last year. Hardly
on
ever.
The run game, he was great, and then he got injured, and then you kind of never saw him again because they signed veterans. So I'll go with the unknown, I guess, in Nakobe Dean, and that could very well burn me, but I'll go with him.
I think Nakobe Dean may have more of a chance to shine, opportunity, but that also leaves him more of a chance to be exposed. Most of us know a lot less about interior line play than we do linebacker play. Because linebacker play is so obvious.
Yeah.
It's either great or it's poor.
Yeah. We're not going to be able to notice. Like a lot of times we did it on Fletcher Cox where coaches would come out and say, you don't understand. He's getting that double team in order to allow his teammates to get to where they need to be. That may become the case with a Jordan Davis. Maybe it was a case a little bit this year. Nakobe Dean is a playmaking linebacker. Whether that translates to the NFL after the SEC, obviously we don't know. The size is a concern, yes, but I don't know why. I kind of have some confidence that he's going to be an above-average linebacker this year.
You both used to say how hearing Trey Thomas break down like line play and stuff like that was like going to a master's class.
Oh, my God.
I would have geeked out in such a big way to watch and go, okay, here's what you're not seeing that I see. And being able to check that out. Because I still try to see it, and I swear I don't think I know what I see.
It's when Trey used to, Pat will tell you, Trey would sit right here, and he'd call up the all 22.
Right.
And the time would fly, and we would look up and go, oh, God, we got to start a show in 30 seconds. That's how encapsulating it was. Like, Trey was phenomenal explaining the interior lines of football.
Because they see the game at a different speed.
You know, you look, you're an average trader. Like we had Trey come down the shore one weekend, right? We had a day on the beach, and my friends were there, and we're all hanging out and stuff like that. And of course, everybody is just like, "Oh my God, look at the size of him." And that's obvious. And you think he goes out on a football field and just dominates because he's 6'8", 360 pounds. And I told him all, I said, if you sat down and talked football with this dude, you would feel like a complete idiot at how smart he is in the game of football. And it's cool to learn that about somebody. And Trey was the ultimate. He was just so good at breaking down and explaining the intricacies of playing offense and defensive line.
Well, I saw it too when he hung out with us down in Tampa.
Yeah,
at Tampa Joe's. He has a grand enthusiasm, Pat, for the game too.
Oh, loves the game,
and a strong opinion of telling people to, oh, that guy's garbage. You're missing something here. It was very funny, and the people reacting to a man of his size down there in Tampa.
He doesn't lack enthusiasm, John.
No, he really doesn't.
Man, I love Trey. He's the best.
It was a lot of fun.
Such a good dude.
It was interesting. Talk me off the ledge, Pat, about Ranger Suarez, please. Just that one of the other news is of the day that Ranger is being shut down temporarily. Not shut down, but he won't be ready for opening day.
I don't know if I'm the one to talk you off the ledge. That worries me.
Well, I'm counting on you to be the one to bring reason. Wait a minute. What am I doing? Why am I counting on Egan to be the one to bring reason to the show?
Yeah,
you're not.
No, I'm not the guy to talk you off the ledge with this one. That's a concern for sure.
Because I'm a huge fan of Suarez.
I think everybody is,
and I love that. It was weird yesterday. I watched the National League Championship Series highlights for whatever reason. It bounced up on. It must have been a Ranger Suarez thing, and watching him secure the final outs, coming in there and saving the game, like one pitch coming in and being able to do it.
Yeah,
with poise.
He's that combination of. I want to say like really good mentally at getting people out. And then also physically, he has the stuff to do it also. I think he's a thinking man's pitcher. And I like that. I appreciate that about him.
I love the coolness that he approaches it with.
I'm kind of talking like that.
Confident.
I think he's a step ahead because of his thought process there. And it takes his body there also. But elbow, inflammation, spring training. God, I hate those words altogether.
Oh, man. Bob's going to tell you about a special event if you missed it yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get back, where you can take part in an event for a great, great cause. Plus, yesterday, Bob and I discussed biases off the air, and I wanted to bring the audience into it and see what you thought. John Kincade Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Look, if you're Winter is winding down. It's time to dust off those renovation plans. Start designing that new kitchen of your dreams. You've heard Anthony talk about it. Get help from Colonial Marble and Granite. Visit colonialmarble.net. See their winter wind down specials today. Bob, a big event that we got to promote yesterday on the show, and a lot of people may have missed it, on benefiting a cause that is near and dear to your heart. And you guys have been heavily involved with this over the years. It was a good chance to tell everybody about the Aussies for Autism.
Yeah, this is awesome. A great thing. It's great to meet Jamil Owens yesterday, who's heading this up. But Aussies for Autism, they're going to have a food festival hosted by G'day Gourmet.
Good day.
And they're going to be featuring this one dude. He's like 6'8", 360 pounds. And his name is Jordan Mailata.
Oh, yeah, he's popular here.
He's
Pat
from
loves him.
Australia, so he's an Aussie. Yeah, on Saturday, April 22nd, noon to 6, at the Lighthouse Sports Complex. That's at 101 East Erie Avenue in Philadelphia. It's going to be great. They're going to have carnival games, bouncy houses, live music. It's just going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people. Mailata will be there, and his teammate Landon Dickerson is going to be there.
I love that.
They say Mailata might even be singing a little bit.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
town.
and an official Australian meat pie eating contest, John. Maybe you want to join that.
A meat pie eating contest.
An Australian meat pie. An Australian meat pie is a delectable
So you say it
item.
is delectable.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, the event's being run by Kids Coalition, and proceeds will benefit local children with autism and their families in need. Kids 12 and under get in free, and for others, tickets are only $10. So check it out, AussiesForAutism.com. And look, having a child with autism, when there are events where we can be together with families that have other children with autism, it's really special, because getting out into society for a lot of people, us included, when our son was younger, it's not all that easy. And it's hard to be accepted sometimes into places where you go and all of that. So doing something like this, I can't give Jamil enough credit for it. A lot of fun. If you're affected by this, have someone, please come check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Check out AussiesForAutism.com.
That's great. Get your tickets now. Get checked in. And by the way, they're looking for sponsors too. So if anybody wants to get in, that wants to support it. So Bob and I discussed something yesterday where I admitted that I've got it. And I don't know if it's the journalist in Bob, but it didn't seem like he has it. The idea that you have inherent biases as a fan versus certain things in sports. We were talking yesterday about Dame Lillard. And mine, where it came up, is Dame Lillard and Mike Trout. And I told Bob before the show, I said, it was after Mike Trout had struck out in the World Baseball Classic, and we were talking about Trout. And I said, I'm always going to look at Trout odd to me, because I look at him as a guy like Dame Lillard, who, when given the opportunity to go and put pressure on themselves, play for something, they choose to, I want to play out of the spotlight. I don't want the pressure games. I'm going to choose to go with an organization that I don't have to deal with that. Some people say that that's admirable to the organization that they play with, contrarily to my point of view. But I'll always look at guys like Trout and Lillard as dodging greatness, dodging the opportunity for not statistical greatness, but greatness. And whether that's fair or not, that's for someone else to decide. But do you have any inherent biases like that when you're a fan and you're looking at athletes who are going to, not just, I hate the Mets, because Pat, we know both you and I have that inherent bias where we hate the Mets.
Yeah, they're gross.
It's a little bit different. Do you have them, Bob?
I wasn't, I have to describe this right. I don't know that that's the case with Dame Lillard and Mike Trout. Like, I don't know.
They both had chances to leave multiple times.
Yeah, I always appreciate, like, Scott Rowland got into a beef with me when he would and all. Like, you be the guy. You be the stabilizing force. Are you for ring chasers?
If a guy has free agency and he has a chance.
If he gets to pick his
guy
team.
Has free agency and he's one of the best talents in the game and he's never played for anything meaningful in his life, I absolutely am all for them finding a way to play on the biggest stage so I get to enjoy their talents in games that mean something. I have probably watched Mike Trout in a game 15, 20 times.
Yeah.
I've seen tons of highlights, but maybe 15, 20 times that I've ever watched an Angels game. because they're rarely on primetime television. Even with the ticket, being able to go bounce around major league games. Being on the West Coast matters, and I think that shelters you a little bit. Like, I think if Mike Trout played for the Nationals, I'm trying to pick a team that's not that prominent, that if he played for the Florida Marlins, it would be, to me, I would have seen a ton more of him. But I haven't. And when given the opportunity, he jumped. He signed early to just say, no, re-up me with the Angels. And by the way, he would have gotten that money from anyone. He may have gotten more.
Yeah. So you're labeling these guys as pretty much losers. Like they're afraid to go try. Well, no. If you're saying they're afraid to go try to win championships, that's a pretty damning label.
I'm saying I believe they prefer anonymity and comfort of life over top-level competition.
You say that to an athlete, that's pretty damning. You go to an athlete and say, I think you'd rather...
That's a little harsh word.
Okay, but if you go to an athlete and say, I think you'd rather be comfortable than go try to win a championship, I'll pick you up off the ground in about 15 minutes after you become conscious again.
Well, I'm not talking about them beating you up.
No,
I'm talking
you know
about,
what I'm saying.
I do believe I've seen it. Dame Lillard could have gone anywhere he wanted.
Okay, well, there's also
like,
some respect to be had to say, I'm going to try to get this organization to the place where they want to be, and I'm the best player here. And, yeah, he's made a life for himself there, and he may love it there and love living there, and he's made a great living for himself. I don't know if I look at softness or
and I didn't say soft. Well, I just said they prefer the comfort. They prefer the comfort of not
soft.
Isn't comfortable. They have
soft?
They have a.
I think of a pillow and a mattress.
Yeah, like a plush
they have a comfortable life. He leads a comfortable life. Pat, what about you? I know you have some. Because if anybody doesn't admit that they have some, they're lying. You've got inherent biases.
Absolutely.
Everybody does. What would be one of yours?
So with the Mike Trout thing, yes, I wish to God that he wanted free agency because, Philadelphia, the connection there, that'd be cool, right? If I was a Kansas City Royals fan, I really wouldn't care about Mike Trout. But to your point, I'll say thank God that Jimmy Rollins didn't think like this because he signed a 5-year deal in 2006, and the Phillies were still pretty bad, and they were ascending, but they weren't there yet.
But they were ascending with a core.
But they still hadn't won in years, and you could make the case like, Jimmy, it's just not going to happen. Leave for free agency. He didn't, and he tells a story of when he got drafted. He said, they're not winning now, but they'll win when I get there. And he wanted to be kind of the piece that you built around. And I think some guys are built like that. They want to be the piece, and then other guys... Kevin Durant, they ring chase. And I don't have a problem with either. With a guy like Dame Lillard, I just want to shake him and go, dude, it's never happening in Portland.
And he knows it's never happening.
Yeah, you gave it your best your best shot. Like, please, you're too good. Go get a ring. With Mike, like I say it like I know him. With Mike Trout, I should say.
He's from Jersey.
He's from.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah,
I've only heard that like a million times. Yeah,
I hear it more from you than anybody else.
I hear it all the time.
With him, he's still young enough where it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could win. He's not 34, 35, 36, where it's like, all right, man, you gave your best shot. So I don't have a problem with him signing long-term with the Angels because you can have a quick turnaround in baseball, and that's a team that has put money into their team. They've just done it kind of unwisely.
Yeah, Pujols and
and then Rendon and Josh Hamilton and stuff. Like, they've tried to surround him. I
thought Rendon was going to work.
Me too. But they've never had pitching ever. Except
like what? Okay, now you two, be honest. Truth serum. You guys have them too.
Yeah.
What are they?
Have what?
When you look at an athlete or you look at something, you've got an inherent bias against.
I think Bradley Beal is to your point. Like, everything you're describing is Bradley Beal. Yeah,
I agree with you. I'd put him into that same
He
thing.
Constantly plays this game of like, I don't know if I'm leaving or not, and then he signs a long-term extension with the Wizards, and he holds them by the coals. And we all know, like, Bradley Beal knows there's no shot whatsoever that he is going to win.
Correct.
So I think Bradley Beal, to your point, I don't want to say soft, but it's like I question his competitiveness. I don't question Dame Lillard's competitiveness. But Bradley Beal, I do go like, dude, you don't really care.
Isn't it about winning
max contracts?
Isn't it about winning championships? Isn't it about playing on the biggest stages?
If we pose this question to both, say, Trout and Lillard, since you put it there, would you rather win a championship with another team or rather win a championship with the team you're with?
Oh, I think they'd say the team they're with.
Yeah, and I wonder if that feeling is so overwhelmingly the answer, John, that they can't give up on that hope or that dream. And, for Trout, it's saying, yeah, get me some pitchers. Me and Ohtani, maybe if you re-sign him, whatever. And maybe it's Lillard, like, look, it didn't work with C.J. McCollum, but if you get me a big man and another, so the West is down. We see that the West is down a little bit. Maybe you could do something. I don't know. I think that's – I try to separate personal and professional. And I think saying that those guys don't want to leave because they're just comfortable or whatever, that almost wagers on personal a little bit to me. So I plead ignorant. Okay, because I don't personally know those guys.
And with Dame, you can make the case that he's not in the wrong because while Portland isn't a destination now, you forget Golden State was never a destination, ever, until all of a sudden they started winning and they got Clay and they got Steph and they got Draymond and all of a sudden now you've got KD wanting to go to Golden State. When they had hanging with Mr. Cooper, getting some garbage time against Charles Barkley, and Baron Davis was their best player. They couldn't attract talent there. Nobody wanted to go play there, and it was a desolate. Oh, I love. I mean,
if Cleveland can become something on the NBA map, Portland absolutely.
And that's I think what Dame's logic is look, if we get the right guys in here and we start winning, then people will want to come to Portland, and we will be a destination.
Thing is, nobody's ever wanted to go and play with Dame.
Well, yeah, I
and
think
by the way, I do believe guys have tried to go the wrong guys in retrospect. I really thought Rendon was going to work, so I'm completely wrong on that one. I thought that was a great signing when they went and did it. But I think people have gone to play with Mike Trout saying,
yeah.
I don't know that nobody's wanted to go to play with
I didn't
Damian
say wanted to. They chose not to. They chose to go somewhere else. They chose to pick somewhere else, which, by the way, usually when they pick somewhere else, I think they went and picked somewhere else, not anti-Dame, but they went somewhere else where they said, look, I got a chance to go win to try to play for a championship.
Well, how much?
And that's the Portland organization more than I think it's Damian Lillard.
I do,
like,
but I'm saying that's what I'm saying is they chose to chase trying to win a championship.
Well, what's the general consensus of Portland in the NBA in terms of going and
probably the same
there?
as it is for you, like thinking of the town of Portland. And I'm being honest here.
Like guys get drafted to Portland, are they excited about it?
For one reason, to play with Dame Lillard, that's probably it. During your lifetime, and these kids are younger than you, what has Portland done?
They had those great teams with Sheed, but
so Daniel Miller on our what you call it here says
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
What's up, Daniel?
He's got a pretty good point. He says, what if the Sixers get bounced this year and then all of a sudden Embiid's demanding a trade because he wants to go win a ring? How are we going to feel about that?
If Joel Embiid, because of if right now he decides I'm moving on, he's given it every shot here. He's not going to have somebody in me ripping him. If he's saying, I've been with this organization, I've given everything I can, I'm 29 years old, I would like to go ring chase. He's not going to have a critic from me. He may have a critic from one of you two, or he might have a critic from other people, but I'm not going to criticize him for wanting to go someplace to an organization, because if they flame out again, he's going to say, can this organization build a team that can even get out of the second round? Because they haven't done it in 20. At that time, it'll be 23 seasons.
Yeah, I can't respect it. I can't. And you're right. Maybe that's my bias. My bias is that I would rather you be dedicated and you to try to, make your organization better, as opposed to say, oh, that organization's great, let me jump on to win a championship. And when all's said and done, all right, Dame Lillard, we'll take that. Is it really going to deflect your thought of him as a player because he didn't win a championship?
No, not that he didn't win one. That he avoided the opportunity to go be on a team that, and there were teams that were interested in him that he was not interested in.
And I think there'll always be teams that are interested in him. Like, I think there is an age for this thing where I go, it is okay to go ring chase. I've changed my opinion on this throughout the years, where I don't have a problem with guys ring chasing. Although, to your point, if it happened to me and Joel Embiid wanted to leave, I'd be pissed. But when Karl Malone and Gary Payton were in the twilight of their careers and they tried to join the Lakers and ring chase, I didn't have a problem with that, because those guys they're role players at that point. They're backups. So it is a little bit of a different situation, but I talk out of both sides of my mouth, because, as I said, if Joel Embiid does this after the
turn on him
months, I'm not going to turn, but I'll be pissed. I'll be a jilted lover.
Okay, well then wait a minute, that's different.
I'm not going to be sitting there booing him.
I'm going to be pissed too if he decides to leave.
Yeah, I'm not
going to be pissed at him.
I'll never boo Joel Embiid.
No, I am going to be pissed at the Sixers organization that they've never been able to figure this freaking thing out.
Well, I'll be pissed at the circumstances that led to this, more so being like he was rarely healthy in the playoffs. And I think that there would have been differences had he been healthy.
I think it's fair. It's going to be it is any chance that that's what we're talking about this offseason. I believe there's a chance. I do. And I don't think it's some minuscule little chance, especially if James Harden begs out. If James Harden, which he will opt out, I would put almost anything I own on that he's going to opt out of that contract to just get his payday. And I could see that, depending on how it ends, depending on how everything ends.
Yeah, I hope not. Again, and maybe it's because it's the way I was brought up. Like, you're going through high school, what do you always hear? Oh, this really good basketball player, he's going to transfer into here. And I remember my high school coach, it happened with us, and he was, interviewed by the media about a kid coming to play at our school. Great kid. Now, a great player, high school player. And you would think coach say, yeah, great. He said, if he wants to come here and try out for the basketball team, and he's good enough to play on the basketball team, okay. But he wasn't actively going after something. Like, it's a dedication thing to me and a loyalty thing to me. Is that euphoric? Sure it is. Is it stupid? Maybe. Is it, all of those things. But, yeah, that's just the way I am. And somebody brings up, well, look at Michael Jordan. He made players win with him. That's idealistic. And that's probably what I always aim for.
It was a different NBA when Michael Jordan played.
It was, but he could have.
Different NBA.
Yeah, the team that beat him up the most, the Detroit Pistons, what if back then he said, you know what, trade me to there because I'm going to go win championships? It took Jordan a while to win championships. He had to go through Bird, and he had to go through Magic, and he had to go through, Dr. J and Barkley, all of those guys.
And that may be a bias on my part that, I celebrate the fact that college kids are now getting paid. I love player empowerment as long as it's being done above board, where it's not you're not, and I'm going to say, putting on a fat suit and purposely quitting on your team to get traded. I am all for player empowerment, being able to put together their teams, guys who want to play and work together, orchestrating their free agency together. I'm fine with that because I think for too long, the players have never had a voice, and it's been something that's been out of their control.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, and it's weird because there are some differences. Look at who's with us, the comedian himself, Mike from Delran. Mike, I'm getting rave reviews about your comedy routine.
Oh, man, I appreciate you had a chance to see it.
No, I have not yet.
I brought it up earlier on air, Mike. I gave you a shout out.
I appreciate it. It was a great time. It was probably one of the coolest things I ever did.
Dude, I swear to God, I was laughing my ass off watching it. You were terrific.
And you were up at Parks, right?
No, it was at Helium.
Oh, was it Helium?
Yeah.
I saw you at Parks, and that's where I got confused.
Yeah, no, they let me talk about it on air for a couple minutes.
That was so awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. I'll send it to you, John. The loyalty thing, it's so hard because I'm on the fence all the time, depending on the situation. Like I love that a player's going to stay and be determined to try to win with an organization. But then once your skills aren't at the highest level they used to be, the organization has no loyalty to you. When you get when the Eagles let Dawkins go or just things like that, you have guys that'll give everything they got to a city and a team. But once they're, on the decline, there's no loyalty anymore. So I guess I can't blame people for trying to go chase a ring. Go Birds!
Go Birds! Yeah, I don't think there's no way I'll ever boo Joel Embiid.
No,
that I'll ever bang the drum of you selfish bastard. Why do you want out? If he decides he wants out, I would, and they don't get out of the second round this year, I would say he has every right to say this organization hasn't done enough to maximize his opportunity to win.
Yeah, but he still has this goes back to he's got a contract for a couple more years. No, sorry, you're here. You signed that contract, dude. All right, that's great. You want to win. Win here. We signed you to a contract.
I
We're building around you. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting conversation. And you talk about bias. There'll probably be players that you like more that you say, oh, I totally understand that. And then guys that you don't like as much that you'll say, oh, look at that. He's ring chasing. I don't think the Kevin Durant stuff was very popular when he did it.
Oh, God, no. He's still
going to Golden State. It was terrible. Horrible.
And I was fine with it.
Yeah, I was fine with it also.
The ultimate goal is to win a championship. And we question players' competitiveness all the time. This guy's going, yeah, I want to win, and we ripped him for it, for not staying in Oklahoma City and ultimately losing. Like, I didn't have a problem with it, but I know a lot of people did.
And they had lost the Western Conference Finals, right? To Golden State.
Yeah, the year before, exactly. So he went to the team that beat him.
Rip. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 4th of July where he signed. Too, if I'm not just
right.
for some weird thing, it was like something like that.
He's still getting ripped for that.
Oh, he still gets killed.
And he probably will for the rest of his career as he sits there with 2 rings.
How did you feel about LeBron with the decision?
I hated the way it came about.
You didn't like the
couldn't
television
stand
show
it.
with Jim
No.
Grant, but you did you understood LeBron wanting to try it, though, right?
Well, he was free agent wants to go somewhere, and you have your choice of teams. Yeah, I understand it. Yeah, getting out of a contract early, or forcing a trade, or coming out and saying I need to go somewhere else for ring. That's my biasness. I don't love that.
You don't now? No, I don't think anybody loves it. There's nobody loves it, but
Changed the way the NBA is now.
I understood it though. I did understand it.
I thought it was a rat move.
You really did?
Yeah, because of as Bob said, the way it came out. I mean, to go on national television and kind of stab your home fan base in the back like that, I thought there were other ways that you could have done it instead of going on national television and doing it. I remember saying, there's no way he leaves Cleveland. He's not going to do that to them on national TV.
Whoa. Okay, I get what you're saying.
But, yeah, ultimately, do I care? No. I mean,
you're
I'm
not
a
saying
Cleveland fan.
You're not saying the rat move was going to Miami.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It was the way he did it.
No, and he equates it to going to college. He's like, look, I went 4 years in Miami, and that was kind of me going to college, and I came back and won a championship ultimately in Cleveland, and and then gave them what they deserved, and then I moved on.
All's well in Cleveland too. Like, I mean, he's beloved there. So I wonder what it would have been like though if he hadn't won that championship. It'd be much different.
I think it'd kind of be like Charles Barkley here. Time heals all wounds, and they would have come to appreciate the fact that arguably the greatest of all time played a large portion of his career with them.
Let's see what Will in Philadelphia has to say. Will, good morning. You're on The Fanatic. How are you?
Hello, how you doing? Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Will.
Pat just brought it up. I was just going to say that we have a classic example here with Charles Barkley leaving the team, and I think that it, like you guys were saying earlier, that it is situational because at the time I was a teenager, and I still, even a grown person, I'm 45 now, I still would probably feel the same way. I felt that Barkley had every right to leave because the ownership was not trying to build around him. But now Joel Embiid leaves, I kind of probably would be a little upset because we did try to build around him.
Well, wait a minute. They tried, but they would have failed. Like, I mean, if the leadership fails you, then you can't blame them, can you?
I hear that, but I don't even think the leadership really tried with Barkley.
No, they didn't. Yeah, you're right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, Harold Cass was a horrible owner. You know what I mean? And you look at the guys now, like, they're trying their best. And if Ben Simmons doesn't beat Ben Simmons, we have a whole different team. You know what I mean? And now you have a true point guard, which I'm not saying that Ben Simmons was a bad point guard, but I don't think he was ever a true point guard. And now you have a true point guard. I hope that they can keep this together for a couple of years, and it might be a different story in the second round.
Good job, Will.
All right.
We'll
Thanks,
talk
Will.
to you then, man. Yeah, I get it. The Barkley thing sort of broke my heart at the time.
Yeah,
but I understood it from Charles' standpoint. I understood it.
Yeah, and if I'm going to be
Completely.
honest here, as much as I say I don't like the Barkley thing, everyone's individualistic.
Yeah.
However, the Barkley one, I kind of got through the years. I hated it at the time because I loved watching him play, Sixers fan, all that stuff. But yeah, through the years, then you understand it. Like, come on, man, who am I playing with here? What's going on? So as much as I love the loyalty and all that stuff, yeah, there are instances where, of course, I'm not going to just paint it as a broad picture of I understand all the time, nor I don't understand all the time.
He asked for Shaq, and he got Shackleford.
Yeah,
that's
that's the famous line, right?
Well, he finally got Shaq, but it was on television.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just...
And then he realized he didn't really like Shaq at all.
He got what he wanted, so it finally came together. Connor's got a Locked On Phillies topic for us as we get ready for the Phillies season right around the corner. And another follow-up on our earlier conversation of likability, but this time about athletes. We'll get to it next. John Kincade Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. You're going to love all...
Philadelphia.
Hopefully your Thursday morning's going well. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll have a little game time coming up later on. We'll have Sweet 16 action tonight. BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app is a great place to be hanging out. In-game wagering and more. Check out betparks.com. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Ohio now. You got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The thunderstorms today. That's like just March.
Yeah, you might hear some thunder.
A March
I don't know if it's a
thunderstorm.
thunderstorm, but you might hear some thunders the way it was.
Might hear a little rumbling of
You
thunder.
might hear a rumble. Yeah.
A little rumble.
I like a good summer thunder, lightning
love it.
storm. Yeah. That breezes through quickly and no damage is done. I don't mind that.
I like sitting out on the screened-in back deck and doing that when it's coming down. And then my wife's always like, there's lightning. And I'm like, well, if the lightning bolt hits the screened-in deck and it hits the piece of wicker furniture that I'm sitting on and I die, then that was totally random and I'm okay with it. I'm okay. There's a Jamaican saying that they like to say is, if you're born to hang, you can't drown. That God knows exactly how you're going to be taken out. I want to tell Pat, you will no longer be visiting California.
Why? Am I banned?
No, but I think
you're banned on the run.
But I
Wouldn't
think
be the first state that I was.
But I
banned
think
in.
something that they're going to be banning will make you boycott California.
Okay, what is it?
California legislature wants to ban the scale of Skittles.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm
Why?
serious.
Why?
Red dye number 3. There is the California legislator have said they want California to stop manufacturing, selling, or distributing foods that contain red dye number 3.
Kiss my ass. What are we doing?
That includes, by the way, there will be popular food and drinks, canned drinks that will no longer be available. Caramels, soft caramels will be banned. And they're going to ban Skittles, hot tamales, and other candies. Good and plenty.
Yeah, this is I wasn't around in the 1920, 21, I think, when Prohibition went into effect.
That was
I wasn't
tough.
around.
It was tough.
But let me tell you, this
Bob
is
did
damn
an
close
interview
to
with
it.
the legislators.
This is close to it. Just get ready for this stuff to be shipped in through the black market
Like
illegally.
bootleg Skittles?
Yeah. You'll have to go to a speakeasy where they just sell nothing but Skittles and hot tamales.
Imagine them checking your bags.
And Mountain Dew Code Red.
You're coming in from Philly.
Do you want to claim anything?
And now the state of California wants to check. Coach, are you going to speak for your home state here? This is so freaking ridiculous. But then again, we are the city where they don't want you to drink a big gulp. Well, the mayor, who is rotund, thinks you shouldn't be drinking a big gulp.
Mm-hmm. Red dye number 3 was banned years ago with in cosmetics, I guess, right?
In cosmetics, I'm putting it on your skin.
Yeah, I think it causes cancer in animals, or they found that there was cases where high doses
cause
cancer in animals.
And more important,
that's your answer to your state.
Well, I mean, look at
that's your defense.
Some of the laws
problem.
out there are ridiculous. You're not allowed to drive around in California on the road without a shirt on.
So Connor'd be arrested?
Yeah.
Are you serious? That's.
Oh no, yeah. I remember there's parts of California where I know that's true.
There's a beach.
No, you're not. Yep. You get pulled over even if you're a woman driving in your whatever, and you have a bikini top on and you don't have a shirt on. You can get ticketed for that.
That's ridiculous. This state has gone too far.
I mean, seriously, California, who has all these other myriad of problems, is worried about Skittles.
Yeah.
Now.
Skittles
and soft
Skittles
caramels. By the way, what are soft what is soft caramel? Does that mean like you can't have like a
those things that have the white thing in the middle, like the white
grandma candy?
They're so good.
You like those?
I like them a lot.
Yeah, but you only started liking them when you hit the age of 65.
No, I liked him before then too. I think it was like when I turned about 60. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So you're not far off. Yeah.
Hey, where's
That
Connor?
and a nice warm milk before I went to bed. I was good to go.
To bed at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, right after the early bird special.
Where's Connor Thomas?
We need
I
Connor.
think he's locked out of the building right now.
No,
Oh, he
he's up 3-0 on Mike. Last I checked. What happened? Did you give up some runs? He doesn't look happy.
No, everything's fine.
Okay.
I'm just glad there wasn't key card access needed to come in the studio. Anyway.
Should we put this out there?
Yes, we should.
All right, little dirty. Hold on, Pat.
Now put it on. 'Cause
I'm calling a 20. I'm calling a 30. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
You should. Do it.
Coach, you mind?
Oh, let's air out.
There we go.
Our
No,
dirty
go ahead.
laundry.
Oh, no, this is dirty laundry.
Well, and it's
All
fair,
right.
too,
This has
because
gone on too
he
long.
just hit the amount of time where he's worked enough to get the money required to actually buy this item.
All right, so here's the deal. So for about a week now, Connor's been calling me a little bit before 5 o'clock to come down and let him into the building. He lost his key card. Okay, I did the same thing a few months back, whatever. It happens. Connor's pissed off today. I said, what's the matter? He said, I texted 2 people last night about it. One just gave a non-answer response, and the other one says, look, this is the 3rd one you've lost, or the 3rd time we're going to have to replace it. We're going to charge $18 for your key card.
And when was the last time they had to replace it?
About a month ago, I lost one, but that was only the first time they had to
Okay.
replace it.
I'm just,
So this is the
I'm
second
just
time.
curious. Just
So you lost it a month ago.
not trying to defend people here.
Yeah.
Okay, just the facts of the case.
Yes.
Bob, you've lost your key card once.
I did lose it once.
In how many years?
I've been here 5.5.
Okay, Pat, how many times you lost yours?
Never.
I've never lost mine either.
No, here's
Coach?
the thing. Here's the thing. Well, yeah. I'm
Coach
sorry.
has been
Go-
here more
get-
than anybody.
Yeah, get Coach.
I am approaching 15 years here, and I have the exact same key cards around my neck that I started with.
Now, to defend Connor with this, you have some people like us, and I think we're probably the majority. But then there are people in the middle like Connor who aren't, serial cases with this. But then you have the other people who lose it within a week, and they've probably lost dozens. So, it really does run the gamut of an office where it happens. People lose their key card.
I've always had to pay for replacement, not one time free and then do it. I've always had to pay for replacement parking cards. Otherwise, if you lost one.
Yeah, but that as we know now, that company sucked,
Well, believe me.
and they were cheap.
All
Don't
right,
worry.
there's an accountability factor here that people are bringing up.
Yeah, for sure.
It's accountability.
There's also if Connor worked normal hours, it wouldn't matter. You don't need a key card really because you could get in the building and get up the steps.
You can't get
and
in
then,
our offices.
Well, you could knock on the doors and it
Right.
would probably go away. You're not guaranteed at 5 a.m. that if he knocked on the doors, you and I are usually in studio.
Correct.
Nobody else is here. Coach is in his office, whatever. There's a lot to be thought out here. I don't know where we all side.
I side with the fact that Connor's unfortunately, he's not full time.
And here's why I say that.
Like, he legitimately probably has to work 2 hours to pay for the ability to buy a key card to get
Okay.
into the building to work.
Here is
Yeah.
my issue with it. I walked up to Connor with $20 and said, put it now. Let's put this away. Let's stop talking about it. Let's stop worrying about it. Here's $20.
Nah, I wouldn't
I'll
have
pay
taken
for
that.
it.
Nope.
No, I wouldn't have
And
taken
Connor
that.
goes, that's the principle of it.
Yeah.
Well, the principle of it is personal responsibility too.
I understand.
So I mean, it's both things. But just take the $20 and put this stupid story behind us.
Well, last time when I lost my key cards was about a month ago, which was the first time in 3 years working here that I've lost anything. They just gave me the cards. There was no comment about paying for anything or this, that, and the other thing, or, hey, one time, but if you lose them again, you got to pay for it. So, the precedent has been set that I could get a replacement.
What?
Should we start a GoFundMe for you?
So I mean, no, he doesn't need a GoFundMe because I already offered him $20 that he wouldn't take because it's the principal being, it's the principal being pissed off about it instead of just resolving it and being done with it.
No, and I understand that completely. Like I
do not.
I get where Connor's coming from with this. What I'm worried about is we will all now be forced to do a mandatory Zoom meeting.
Over key cards.
The importance of keeping your key card, and it'll take an hour.
Now, people are like, why don't you just keep it in the same place? I do. I keep mine in my car all the time. But one time, I went out and I accidentally kept it in my pocket. And I went to lunch with my friends, and it fell out of my pocket, unbeknownst to me. I went back there. I figured out, that was the last place I was. Went back there a couple of days later. Girl said, yeah, we did, but I think we threw it out because we didn't want to chance anybody getting to it. Whatever. So that's on me. Things get lost. Yeah. I'm kind of.
They do, and guess what?
Yeah,
I could absolutely.
I would pay it and eat it and make sure that I don't do it again.
But once again, we're all full-time employees. Connor's not.
Well, that's why I offered to just pay for it, and this all could be over.
And that's a foxhole move by you?
No, I
that's
appreciate
a leader of a show move?
No, it's called a can we freaking move on from minutia?
But we can't.
See, we're all laughing about it. You're getting mad. Don't get mad, John.
No,
it's
it's
just a good, fun discussion.
No, because when Connor's mood
he's okay.
affects me.
I'm
no,
okay.
He's been grumpy Gus all
see,
No, he
day.
hasn't.
See,
now here you're wrong.
Thank you.
So he was grumpy Gus. And then him and
Like
Mike
5
started
minutes.
playing baseball. And he hit a home run on the first pitch, and then another home run on the third pitch, and then he became happy Connor
You got to allow me to be annoyed over some things, or I'm going to actually get in bad moods, and then it's really going to affect your mood. Like, everybody gets annoyed over some things in short spurts, and you can't, take that away from me.
I just got a text from someone in corporate that said, depending on the amount of page clicks you get this month,
there you go.
They might be able to forego the $18, but you have to
bait.
really
That's bait.
up your
That's
numbers.
bait.
You have to really up
Click
your
on my
number.
articles anyway.
Hey, there you go. Hey, when someone gets hurt, we know who to call. But what about a mental health crisis? The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers free confidential support around the clock. Don't hesitate. Call 988. So Connor is the host of the Locked On Phillies podcast.
No key card required.
There is none. You do it at your home. And you are 1 week away from the Phillies opener. What do you have an eye on target today?
So this is interesting to me. I checked in about a week ago on the MVP odds in the National League because the Phillies have a couple guys that could be contenders for that. Trey Turner, of course.
I placed a bet.
Did you? Did you place one on Trey Turner?
14-1 last week.
Now,
before the World Baseball Classic went crazy.
And this is what's interesting to me. Trey Turner, when I looked about a week and a half ago, probably about the same time you placed that bet, he was 8th in odds to win the National League MVP. He's now up to 5th. He hasn't played a regular season game. He hasn't done anything in a Philadelphia Phillies uniform over the past couple weeks. Strictly the World Baseball Classic performance has moved him up 3 spots in the National League MVP rankings.
Now, you know what someone would say, sucker bet to people like me that bet it.
Possibly, but that's my question. Do you buy the World Baseball Classic affecting him to the point where he moves up 3 spots in the MVP rankings? Does that hold that type of weight for you? Because to me, it doesn't.
It did for me last week that I bet it at 14-1. So I decided, and I put $20 on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think
and
it's
a
more
free bet, Pat, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's more of a reminder of how good he is. Not that justified or not that made you think he's better now because or whatever. I think it was like, oh, yeah, that's right. And Trey Turner just got traded to the Phillies, and they got a great lineup. And, oh, my God, look at him swing the bat. I think it's more that than it is overwhelmingly, look how good he is because he did this in the World Baseball.
Okay, so do you guys attribute this to a bunch of bettors like John seeing what he's doing in the World Baseball Classic and saying, well, okay, I'm getting good odds on Trey Turner, and then forcing sportsbooks to jump his odds a little bit? Is that what you think's going on?
No, honestly, I had a free bet.
Okay.
And every time I have a free bet, when I take advantage of the Bet Parks like bonuses, every time now, because of Pat, I do a futures bet.
Smart move.
Every time. And so I started to think, and it just so happened, it drew me to look at the World Baseball Classic and, and everything. And I went, oh, wait a minute. What about a Phillies thing? So I put it with my Phillies.
Yeah, I guess this is a practice in how much does the World Baseball Classic performances by Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto and Trey Turner and some other guys. Taijuan Walker pitched really well for Team Mexico. How much does that weigh into how you're looking at the Phillies for the regular season? Because I know there's people who are like, oh, it's a separate tournament, and it's early, and it's not doing anything. And I know there's people who are hyped up when they see the Phillies hit the only 2 home runs in the final. So it's a good gauge of how much this affects people's perspective.
I'm hyped. I said since 2009 I haven't been this hyped for a Phillies opener. It's the biggest since then for me.
Yeah, this is
unbelieving.
this is a really fun lineup, and they have good pitching, and they have a terrific bullpen. Yeah, what's not to be hyped about?
Would you say you have high hopes?
I would say that I would.
I would sing it. I would sing it from the chandeliers.
But I would listen to your podcast first.
Absolutely, yes.
Locked on Phillies. I'd listen to that one.
Correct.
Good job. 8 o'clock hour, John Kincade Show. Stick around, Connor. I want your input on this one. Wild and the Flyers today at 6:30 in the Fanatic. Coach trying to figure out why a 6:30 start tonight. Like, what was that about?
Yeah.
I wonder if it was they didn't want to run too much into NCAA basketball, knowing that you're in the Sweet 16 or the
I
Elite
wonder if
8,
the
wherever
NHL is
hell
just
we are.
trying stuff out.
Yeah, that could be too, Pat. That's a very good
It was
point.
a time change, too. It wasn't originally scheduled for 6:30.
Flyers have tried a lot of different game times on the weekends, by the way, and I've greatly appreciated it because my wife loves going. She loves the Flyers most of all, and I like going to see hockey, and she loves the afternoon games. So she wants to go to the afternoon game, so we're going to go down Saturday afternoon. So I like these different start times if you can. So we had an earlier conversation we've been talking about all day about the likability factor. So I ask you right now, rank them. Who's the most likable Philadelphia athlete? I don't think it's easy as some people are going to think. Because I think there's a lot of candidates. My 3 candidates that I would purport to you would be Bryce Harper, Joel Embiid, and Jalen Hurts. So answering who's the most likable to me is very, very difficult. Is there anybody who feels that if those, or should there be another athlete that cracks that triumvirate at the top? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone?
I might replace Harper with a teammate, and that's Kyle Schwarber. I know Harper's more out there,
right?
But while Harper's sidelined this year, maybe my thinking here will be fortified. I think that Schwarber's a really likable dude.
He is.
I think he's a leader. I think he's going to be out there more, interviewed more, all of that more as the team leader while Harper's out. I think when Harper comes back, that's going to be pretty much of an even race there. And I love Harper. I'm not putting Harper down. So I was going Embiid, Schwarber. Embiid, Hurts, Schwarber.
Okay, Connor, where do you vote?
I wouldn't have Joel Embiid in the top 3.
I think he gets criticized too much to be in the top 3.
I totally agree.
I mean, he'd be third on my list because I think he still has the people that are constantly taking pot shots at him.
Yeah, I'm putting another Eagle above Joel Embiid. I'm going Jason Kelce in that conversation.
Not bad.
God, that's a great one.
Yeah, he's got to be. He might be above Hurts. I think we all look at Hurts because he's the quarterback and he's kind of the face of the franchise now. But who's more likable than Jason Kelce? And for that matter, Brandon Graham could be in the conversation. Now, he's had some criticism over the course of his career, especially early on and everything that. But, yeah, my top 3 would be Hurts, Kelce, and Harper.
Okay, so, Pat, I had a feeling you were going to go off the board with one of them. That you weren't going to agree with my 3.
Mine have kind of been mentioned. Connor took a lot of my steam from me.
Sorry, bud.
And no, it's fine. Jason Kelce's the Eagle. I don't think that's a question. Jalen Hurts, I think Connor's right. You look at the quarterback, what he does on the field. We've talked about this. I mean, what he gives us in terms of interviews and stuff is very vanilla.
Yes.
Milquetoast. That's fine. I don't care what you're giving me at a podium as long as you're balling out the way he did. But I think that plays into the likability factor. I think when you have Brandon Graham mic'd up and he's yelling at guys and he's audibly telling
taunting
Daniel
the other
Jones
team and stuff
after the game. Told you I was going to get, by the way, good game. Like, that's likable to me. Jason Kelce, likable to me because of all the stuff off the field, but also on the field. But for me, it's Joel Embiid. I mean, what that dude is doing right now, I probably find more joy watching him play his sport than any athlete right now in Philly because it's just he's on another level.
There's a stranger to me in this building or something like that. I'm not going to talk to them the same way. Yeah, I'm not going to talk to them the same way I talk to you because I like you. I know you. You know, we work together, all of that. I think Joel Embiid is that. I like him so much. I can put him down when I want, and I can praise him when I want because he's my boy. He's my guy. I love him. I think that's how the city looks at Joel Embiid. Jalen Hurts hasn't built up enough of a resume yet for people to, go after him or have him be like that little brother that you love and all that stuff. So, yeah, that's why I still think Embiid is number 1 in this town.
It is likability's a big thing with this off. Are you surprised Joel Embiid has no... Does he have endorsements?
He has
Under Armour.
Under Armour.
Yeah.
No, but I mean an endorsement where he speaks for a brand like other NBA players. Is it his accent that maybe keeps him? Is it he doesn't want to do it?
What else does he have besides Under Armour? He's
Mountain
got
Dew.
Mountain Dew,
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
He doesn't to me, he's not front and center enough for his greatness. But then again, Jokic isn't at all.
No, and I think yeah, the Jokic thing probably has to do with the language barrier,
Right.
the accent. I've never heard Jokic really speak.
Because that makes it likable.
And be like the personality that Joel Embiid shows is incredible. I mean, we know that, like the Troel thing, but he's kind of dialed that back quite a bit.
He's grown up
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's just dialed in more to basketball than Instagram and social media.
I'm imagining Joel Embiid on the Tonight Show after the Sixers win the title. And, like, I have a feeling that there's a part of him that's just waiting to explode as far as his star. You know, and the whole country to be like, okay, now we love him because he did something.
Oh, we're forgetting big one. Hulu. He did that. Hulu has live.
Oh, really?
That's yeah.
But Baker Mayfield did too.
Yeah,
Right,
those are
yeah.
funny. Those are funny commercials.
There were some funny commercials. Baker is. I still can't get over the streaming. Whoever comes up with the way to be able to have multiple streaming services going where I don't have to, where I can just flip channels. That invention will be the next. It's going to be the air conditioning. The all kinds. I'm trying to think of the inventions that I don't have to. That I can flip between Netflix, Amazon TV, and everything. That'll be the greatest. Logging in and out, I'm just not.
Yeah, you could just say it in the remote. That's what I do. Flips it easy enough.
You just do, hey, just speak to it.
Yeah, but I had to pay $18 for it.
You did watch that. Don't lose. Now,
Oh
Connor,
my God! Now I'm with John. You gotta let it go.
Connor, here's what I need you to do.
Nope.
Do you have, by the way, your remote in your apartment, do you have it like on a string?
No,
It's
it
like
sits on
tied to the
it sits
TV?
on the coffee table.
Do
I don't
they?
normally lose stuff.
You don't normally lose
No,
stuff?
I don't. I'm normally pretty good. with it.
Where were you keeping the key card?
I'll tell you what it was. We had our St. Patrick's Day remote, and I lost it somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah, somewhere there.
Well, man, I got a theory then.
I don't know.
I lost
got a
my
little-
headphones at a remote,
Yeah.
so I know of which
It
you
happens.
speak. Yes.
When you travel outside the studio, stuff gets misplaced.
Yeah, I left the Irish horn, got like 10 minutes down the road and realized I completely forgot my jacket, and I had to
See?
turn
No,
around and come
Pam
back.
Pam thought
when
you
you're out-
came back for a hug.
Well, I did, yeah. I mean, that too. Like,
She was like, no, Egan came back for one
I
last
wanted
hug.
to show her what she was missing,
Ah,
and then
see?
come back and maybe I thought like, oh, she'd be like, well, I don't want to live without you, but it didn't really happen like that. But it to your point though, when you're out of the studio and you're out of your comfort zone, yeah, you're more likely, I think, to lose stuff.
Okay, can I ask you, why was your key card out at the Irish Horn?
I don't know. I thought I had it in my pocket. I just showed up.
Why did you have it out? Why'd you have it?
I know why. You were trying to pick up the waitresses by
No,
saying,
no.
I don't know if you know this, but I work at the station. Here's proof. Here's my key card.
No, because I came here at 3 a.m. to get the reads and everything done, and I had to get
well,
in
then
here.
that's a good
So,
excuse.
Yeah.
Good excuse. All right, good stuff.
Thanks,
we will
guys.
have game time coming up at the bottom of the hour, and Pat wonders if there's suddenly a concern. I know I've got a concern. We'll get to it next. John Kincade Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Your chance to win spectacular prizes and more. Great stuff. By the way, the kids last night, the best class ever. Now, I'm not imposing on the best show ever.
Did they say that or do you say that? They might have thought it sucked. You might have walked out of there and been like, man, what a great class. And they might have all gone out and gotten some soda pops afterwards and said, this guy is a stone cold jackass.
Their best performance ever, I should have said.
Oh, okay.
They were outlandishly great last night, my students. They did, we've been doing a little bit on advertising and learning how to do your live reads like we just did. And the kids all had to do some of them the 10-second reads, some of them the 30 seconds, 60-second reads. But I said to them, you study the script and then you just tell me about it. And they absolutely blew me away. It was incredible last night.
Nice.
The future of our industry, no matter what it's going to look like, is in good hands.
John has groomed the future of our industry, Pat.
I think they had the talent, Pat, going in. I don't think I found the talent. These youngsters, they are very inactive.
Maybe
they didn't mind that we got class done efficiently because I said once we're done, when we hit all the stuff, we're done. So they didn't mind getting out a little bit earlier too. And I think it wasn't soda pops, Bob, that some of the guys were going out to
you don't
grab.
know. Maybe. There might have been some soda flowing.
I don't think it was, but Pat, there may have been Skittles. The people reacting to the Skittles story is amazing.
How about a Skittle in a soda?
when I was in college, I didn't get taken to a lot of parties, surprisingly. But when I would bring a king-size bag of Skittles.
And that's
let me
always.
tell you, I made a lot of friends with those Skittles.
You were spreading the rainbow.
To the guys, I would put them in my mouth and say, do you want to taste the rainbow?
Oh, that's just unbelievable. That could be another Zoom meeting.
To the girls, I would just
That
offer
could be
them
another
Skittles.
Zoom meeting.
Yeah, to the girls, I would just be like, hey, what color do you want?
Which one do you choose? By the way, have they ever sold Skittles by flavor?
No.
I know that you can go to the M&M store in Manhattan and you can get the colored M&M that you choose.
Just green, please.
Which, by the way, it doesn't. I've been informed that there is no difference in the taste.
There is not. We've done this.
No one can convince me of that, but that there's no difference. I don't know what it is because I do, and I've said it before when we've done Truth and Lies. If I have a package of M&Ms, I will in my hand go, okay, well, let me eat the browns.
Oh, I sort it like that too, but there's no difference in the taste.
No, I mean, but I look at it for whatever reason. I do that stupid routine. Coach, what do you got?
Yeah, the Candy Kitchen down in Rehoboth Beach sells the Skittles by flavor.
So you can go and you can get a bag.
Oh, yeah.
And you can take it.
Just purple.
Pat, Bobby.
Purple's good.
Purple and
like
red.
purple. Yeah,
Red's always good.
But you know what, though?
Starburst red is good.
Put the yellow and the orange
The
together.
yellow's
That's
great,
living.
too, though.
Yeah, that's living.
Now, orange, when I would get Starburst as a kid,
Oh, I like orange.
I'd always give the orange to someone else.
Real. I'm not a huge fan, but I eat it of the pink one.
Strawberry, don't like it either.
Strawberry.
Don't
I
like it
like
either.
the pink one a lot.
So
You
somebody
do?
on here wants to know, what do they call you at Temple, your students?
John, I told them I am not a professor, even though I'm teaching a class. I have too much respect for the people who went through the process of getting all their accreditations to be a professor. And I told them that in the workforce, I don't expect people your age that intern or ever around me to call me anything else, so they call me John.
Very
Just call me
good.
John.
You handled that perfectly. I'm proud of you.
What would you think of? What would someone
Oh,
think
no,
of?
I was just, somebody asked on here. I never thought about it, to tell you the truth.
I would feel very uncomfortable. I feel very uncomfortable with Mr. Kincade. Like last night, I met walking after I said we were walking out of the building, and then I'm walking to where my car is, and I ran into Ava, who is my daughter's roommate. She was walking back to her dorm, so I walked with her. And I always just say, you can call me John. Like, she doesn't have to call me Mr. Kincade. I've known her. I've met her as an adult, so she doesn't have to call me Mr. Kincade. Now, a lot of kids that I grew up with still call me Mr. Kincade. Like Liv's friends will call me Mr. Kincade. And I'm like, I feel a lot more, you can call me John if you want. Don't feel the need.
Kyle's group of friends, he's got solid group. Almost all of them call me Mr. Cooney, except for one calls me Bob. And he
you don't
calls
have any problem
Donna
with that,
Donna.
right?
My daughter calls me Bob.
Exactly.
I don't. Yeah.
My friends, I have friends of mine who I love who hated the fact that I called Betty Betty. That I would address my mom as Betty. I go, Betty, you want a drink? Betty, do you want something? And I have friends of mine who would be like, okay, dude, she's your mother. Why would you call your mom by her first name? And I didn't always. I'd call her mom sometimes too.
Sure.
But I addressed her as Betty. Especially like,
Hey, it's a relationship thing.
And-
If I ever did that to my dad, I'd be through a
would have
wall.
been good.
No. I never force my kids. You hope they just gain your respect or whatever, however you want to call it. But we have this relationship, Donna and I do, with our daughter, Jenna, where she started when I would do something stupid. She would be like, Bob, what are you doing? And then it's just kind of carried over. Now, she calls me dad also, but I kind of chuckle at it when she calls
What
me
about
Bob.
everybody else?
Everybody else,
Like,
what?
what about
the other
Bobby,
kids?
Tommy? What
No,
about
they all call
Kyle?
us mom and dad.
So
Well,
she's the only one that
she-
calls.
Yeah.
Wait a
Now,
minute.
how do they feel about it?
They don't say anything. Like, you know.
Yeah, but they've got to have some kind of feeling about the fact
Tommy
that
used to, now our son Tommy, who you all out there know has autism and is a man of few words, he would always correct her. If she would be like, Bob, you got to do this. And he'd say, it's dad. And it's mom. And he
I love
would.
that.
And
He's the
she would.
man.
But
like
she
your
does it.
protector.
Yeah. But she does it some, which is funny because she's his protector.
Right.
And it's funny now he's just given up on her. Like, you know, he's just.
she's a lost
There's-
cause.
She is.
Pat,
yeah.
there's something about when you get to the point with your daughter where you can just sort of have that, when the relationship, I think, really does around 16, 17 change with your daughter. And I mean, we were out yesterday. Liv and I go to dinner before class on campus on Wednesday afternoons.
Where did you pay for?
I paid for Honey Grow
Oh God,
yesterday, which was quite a payment.
that's a few key cards.
It's $23.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And so I had a Caesar grilled chicken Caesar.
A few key cards.
But it was weird because this girl said, I never said, she goes, that's my dad. And she had been like at the next table, she goes, I could never have dinner like that with my dad. She goes, my dad doesn't, I don't know why. And I felt sad for myself. And Liv held my hand as we walked. And a lot of kids won't do that. It just depends on the relationship. I think a lot of parents set up I'm the parent, you're the kid.
The boundary.
The boundary of which I don't understand because why do I want a boundary there? I've only got one.
Well,
Maybe you need more boundaries, but the thing is, she listens. She never calls me. She never calls me John. Like she would that would be for whatever reason, but she calls her mom Christina. She'll go, Christina.
Really?
Yeah, she'll go because she thinks that that her mother doesn't listen when she hears mom in public. That she just ignores it. So she'll say, Christina, in a store and stuff. Those two have a totally different relationship. It's just
how does she feel?
Christina
about
loves it.
Okay. So
Yeah, the
she
two of
cracks
them
up about it.
they got their own little language, and then they speak Spanish because they're both completely fluent in Spanish.
And you can't.
They speak behind my back.
Yeah.
And sometimes
not good.
I will be having a disagreement with one of them.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll walk to the laundry room or walk towards the bedroom. And I can hear the
Como te?
and I know that they're talking about me. And I say, I know you're talking about me.
Por qué?
I'll do a Frank Costanza at that point.
Yeah, that's a little.
What is
awkward.
El Tipo?
El Tipo?
Idiot.
Is it?
Yeah. Why do you
No,
hear
they
that a
wouldn't
lot?
call me idiot.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Wow.
No, they wouldn't call me. What is El Tipo?
It's a step down of jackass.
It is not. They would not.
Sure it is.
No,
Idiot.
They would not name call like that. They would not. First of all, Christina would just use idiot. She wouldn't need the second language to do it.
There's a lot
So
of
it
people
says-
on
it
here
says
saying
El Tipo is the type.
The type?
That's what it says. El Tipo means the type.
El Tipo.
So apparently
maybe I'm wrong on the word. Maybe I'm wrong on the word that it's. I think it's like El Tipo.
El Dico, I think is what they're saying.
I don't think it's
El Geeko?
El Geeko.
El
No, that's what
Geeko.
Jamie
No.
says in Spanish.
El
Hey,
Nerd Boy.
Head into your local PJs and catch all the tournament action. Tons of TVs, great bars, featuring $15 Miller Lite buckets for the entire tourney. Why would you go anywhere else than your local PJ Wellahan's? Every single Thursday at this time, we want you to get lined up. It's game time. You call 610-632-0975. Fabulous, sometimes life-changing prizes are available for you. We love it that you get in. 610-632-0975. And I turn the key card to the operation over to Pat Egan.
It's Thursday at 8:30, which means game time. Today we are playing The Price is Right, Springtime Edition. Now here's your master of ceremonies, a man whose spring has sprung, and then some, Pat Egan.
What's with the flipper action in
Just
there?
the
I like
music.
that.
You like that flipper?
Yeah.
Just the music gets me upbeat every time. I love the Price is Right theme.
I think the only reason we do this game is because Coach knows how much Bob hates this theme song.
And Bob is
it's
the
payback.
best.
It's payback for Bob chewing on air.
He's the best at this game, though.
Believe it or not, Bob's eating on air. All right. Life-changing prizes today include a pair of tickets to tonight's Flyers Wild game, a pair of tickets to Sunday's Flyers Red Wings game, a pair of tickets to go see Adam Sandler on Friday, April 14th.
Good prize.
$50 Metro Dining gift card, and a pair of run-of engagement passes to see Champions. All right. So the way this works, if you're unfamiliar with the game and you can get involved at 610-632-0975, is I am going to give you gentlemen an item. And the caller just has to determine which of you guys is closest to the actual retail price without going over.
Excellent.
It's pretty simple, right?
Yeah, it's simple. It's just like the game.
Yeah, we'll start out with Ben in Westchester.
Hey, Ben, what's going on, brother?
Yo, happy spring.
Happy spring, buddy.
Ben.
All right, we'll kick it off with John here. Now, the item I'm going to give both of you gentlemen is the Farmhouse Welcome Spring wood hanging sign for the front. Not the back, the front door. Once again, the Farmhouse Welcome Spring wood hanging sign for the front door. How much, John?
God, I hate these things, by the way. I'm going to go $14.95.
Bob?
I was going to go $14.99. I'll go a little higher. I'll go $19.95.
All right, Ben, who do you think is closest to the actual retail price?
Without going over.
Without going over?
Yep.
Oh, I hate to do it. I gotta go with Bob.
Why do you hate to do it?
Yeah, well, he hates to do it because...
Oh, you didn't.
That's why.
Ben!
I'm sorry,
Come on,
Ben.
Bob.
Yeah, and
It's your fault, not mine.
okay, blame the listener. That's smart. That's great. That's great marketing right there, Bob. Blaming the listener for this.
I apologize,
Come
Ben.
on, man.
My
All
fault.
right, good job.
Take some accountability for this. All right, we'll keep it going with.
How much was it? I
in
missed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was $18.99.
Oh, wow.
You missed by $1.
I was close. All right,
You were close, but you lost. Let's go to Colin in Westchester.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you,
Thursday,
buddy.
Colin.
Bob, we'll start out with you. The item in question is the G Garden 1800 watt Quiet Max branch wood chipper and mulcher with 14.5 amps. Once again, the G Garden
Wow.
Bob, please. The G Garden 1800 watt Quiet Max branch wood chipper and mulcher with 14.5 amps.
Do we have a size on this?
No. we
Okay.
don't.
So I'm going to go $49.99.
All right. Do you have a guess?
Well, no, I have to.
John?
I'm going to go. Then Bob says that I'm going to go $59.99.
All right, Colin. Who do you think's closer?
I think I'm going to go with John. Sounds
Yeah,
like
that's
pricey.
smart because Bob's guess sucked. Yeah. The actual retail price is $229.99. That wood chipper just won, Colin, a pair of tickets to tonight's Flyers Wild game. Tickets available at PhiladelphiaFlyers.com, 6:30 puck drop. So, a little bit earlier, but should be a good one.
By the way, I believe you could get that cheaper at Paul B. Moyer and Sons
Yes.
in Doylestown.
I
They'll
would
take
agree.
great care of you.
Yeah, just drop our names.
There you go.
Get in before 11 for free. Let's keep it rolling to Chris on the cell.
There's never a cover at Paul B. Moyer and Sons, Pat.
You don't say that.
Oh, okay. There we go.
What are you doing? Let's
Hi,
go to
Chris. Chris, how are you?
Chris, I apologize for these guys. All right. John, you're going to start out. The item up for question is the Suncast Outdoor Hideaway 100-foot durable storage hose reel with a crank handle and a lid with 100-inch hose capacity. Once again, Coach, please I know you guys can't hear it, but he's sitting here just, he's like one of the
Does
old
it
men
include
from
the
the
hose?
Muppets. Once again, the item up for question is the Suncast Outdoor Hideaway 100-foot durable storage hose reel with crank handle and lid with 100-foot hose capacity. John, how much?
$49.99.
Oh, my God. That's exactly what I wrote down. I'll go $59.99.
All right. Chris, who's closer?
I don't know. The guy with more kids seems to be able to lay a lot more hose. Let's go with Bobby.
Great call, Chris.
Wow.
Great
That
call.
is a great way of looking at it, Chris, and you couldn't be more correct.
Not only do I love your answer, Chris, I love the reasoning.
The
behind
reasoning
it
is
because
very
the
sound.
actual retail price was $60.99.
Whoa!
Bob, $1 off.
Bob!
Chris, you just won a pair of tickets to go see Adam Sandler on Friday, April 14th at the Wells Fargo Center.
Great prize.
Tickets are on sale now at wellsfargocenterphilly.com. Let's keep it rolling with John in the Northeast.
What's up, Johnny?
What do you say, guys?
Let's make you a winner, buddy.
All right, Bob, you're up first. The item is the Ego Power 21-inch 56-volt cordless select cut lawn mower with a touch drive self-propelled technology and 150-watt headlamp for nighttime mowing.
Oh,
For that
sugar.
dirty nighttime mowing.
Who's
Once
So
mowing
it's
again-
a
at night?
21-inch.
Gentlemen, please, I need to repeat it. The Ego Power 21-inch 56-volt cordless select cut lawnmower with touch drive self-propelled technology and 150-watt headlamp for nighttime mowing.
I'm going to go $429.
All right, John, how much?
$1.
John, the caller, who is closer?
I think that's a pretty expensive item. I'm going to go with Bobby.
Good call. Good
There
call,
you go.
Bobby. You nailed it. Yeah, $549 that will cost you. It's expensive, but it's worth it because you'll be able to mow at night.
I like mowing at night.
Who's mowing the lawn at
Come on,
night?
John. We're good mowers at night.
A lot of people mow at night, John. Get on it,
telling
bud. You're weird if you don't. We're going to give John a $50 Metro Diner gift card. Visit metrodiner.com. And we'll also give him a pair of run of engagement passes to see Champions starring Woody Harrelson, Caitlin Olsen, and Cheech Marin in theaters now. Very funny movie. All right, let's keep it rolling to Rich in Levittown.
And he's living here in Levittown.
What's up, Rich?
What's up, Rich?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good,
Rich,
buddy.
we're going to start out with John on this one. John, the item is the FXW 33-foot vegetable garden fence with an animal barrier
Oh,
and gate for dog or for a cat. Once again, the FXW 33-foot vegetable garden fence with animal barrier and gate for dog or cat. What is your price?
$29.99.
Bob?
I'm going to go more. I'm going to go $40.99.
Rich, who's closer?
I'm going to go with John.
Yeah, that's not it, man. That ain't-
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No, John doesn't know 33-foot vegetable gardens, bro. And you should know that.
Man.
Unfortunately, the actual retail price, $165.99. Don't worry. You can call back next week.
There you go.
We do this every week, guys. That's the best part. Let's get two more in here. Let's
that's
go
it.
with Patrick in Audubon.
What is Patrick up to? Patrick, what's going on?
Good morning, guys. Go Phils.
What's up, buddy? Go Phils.
All right, let's go with Bobby here on this one. The Purple Leaf 10 by 12 outdoor hand top gazebo with steel double roof. Double, we're talking here. And permanent canopy. Includes mosquito netting. Once again, the Purple Leaf 10 by 12 outdoor hand top gazebo with steel double roof here. And permanent canopy, including mosquito netting. Bob, how much?
I'm going to go $399.
All right.
I'm going
John?
to go $429.
Patrick, who is closer?
John's going to be closer on this.
Yeah,
He knows how to, lead.
Yeah, no,
There you go.
John absolutely knows Purple Leaf, and he nailed this one. $159. I'm sorry, $1,599.
Wow.
And 99 cents.
That's
I mean,
expensive.
they're including a mosquito netting.
Oh, the
I mean, that's
mosquito
the
netting
big
is very
giveaway.
expensive, yes.
Congratulations to Patrick, though. He just won a pair of tickets to Saturday's Flyers-Red Wings game. Tickets available at
I'll be there, too.
PhiladelphiaFlyers.com. And let's get our last caller in for the day. Let's go to Anthony in Delco.
Anthony!
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up,
up,
buddy?
Bobby, you're first up for the Purple Spa. Ooh. Plus 85-inch diameter, 6-person portable inflatable hot tub spa with 170 bubble jets and
Wow.
built. John,
Are you going to let me finish my statement or not?
once again, Purple Spa plus Purple Spa, coach. Purple Spa plus 85-inch diameter 6-person. Just give me a price. What do you got, Bob?
6-person?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go $999. $999.
Yeah, we got your price. Move on. We're going with John.
I'm
it has
going
a heater.
$1.
All right. Who's closer, Anthony?
All right, I'm going to go with Bob on this one.
Unfortunately, man. No.
It's
The
portable,
correct-
so I figured it was cheaper.
Correct price is $655.99. You know what, Anthony? I will give you the pair of passes to the run of engagement of the Sea Champions.
How about
Woody
that?
Harrelson, Caitlin Olsen, and Cheech Marin.
And you
theaters
liked
now.
it, right?
It was hilarious. It was really, really
Okay.
fun. Yeah, so if you're looking for a funny movie this weekend, I would suggest that one.
Woody went out on a limb and because
Woody went out on a limb?
he has, because I guess
Yeah, he's smoking the good.
when he does some of his the movie companies don't like sending him out on
Press tours
because he's very candid and very honest, and sometimes he sort of downplayed how good a movie's going to be, and he went out on this film and said people are going to love this movie.
It's very, very fun.
What's it called again?
Champions.
Yeah, I do want to see that.
I do too. A basketball movie? That he
I got to
wants
see Eddie
The
first.
basketball in it is not what you should. I mean, it's when they're actually. So the whole premise of the movie is he's playing a coach in basically the G League. And the scenes that they have of guys playing in the G League is tough to watch. It's pretty brutal. They didn't put a lot of money into that aspect of the movie, but it is a very, very funny movie.
I don't understand why you don't get basketball players to play basketball players or football players to play football players.
Sometimes they do.
Well, don't you
a lot
should
of
know
times
this,
they
Pat.
don't, though.
Don't you have to be in the union? In the Actors
Not
Guild?
if they
or
have
no?
lines. Not if they don't have lines.
No, they can hire anybody.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
You have to be 5 and under, Bob. Like if you wanted to be on let's say you're going to be on Abbott Elementary. As long as you're a 5 and under.
I don't know what that means. 5 and under.
And lines.
Oh, okay.
Let's say you played a delivery man and you got 2 or 3 lines. You do not have to join the union.
Let's say you played like a sex worker, but you only had 3 lines. You're good.
What would be those lines?
I put out.
Is that all?
Would that have been it?
Are you done?
Is it in? Are you done?
We're tired of this. By the way, one of our listeners, and I want to make sure because it's our friends at PJ's, and it's also one of our great listeners that wanted to draw my attention to it. Kate. She is a big fan. Kate McGuire, big fan of the show. And she says that her son goes to the Timothy School in Berwyn, and they're hosting an event at the PJ's in Newtown Square on April the 13th from 5 to 9 p.m. The Timothy School, 15% of sales go to the school, and the Timothy School is for children and young adults on the autism spectrum. And she's heard us talking about the autism effort this week and everything like that. And she says, so just a way that PJ's, our buddies at PJ's, are getting involved with that from 5 to 9 p.m.
Well, Kate,
it's great to see.
Yeah, if you're listening, Kate, if you don't mind, if you could email me the information, that'd be great.
I'm going to send it to you. I'm just going to copy it, Bob, and I'm going to send it right to you.
Super.
So I'm going to save her that problem and send it right to you. So really, really cool. And that's awesome. I love seeing I love it when our format can do some things that sort of mobilize good. Like
Oh,
that.
yeah, God.
And we love it. The AACR every
Doing
day
good
and
things
everything
is
great.
fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. Hey, we have a lot coming up. March Madness is back and better than ever tonight. And now we go to another conversation about likability after the top of the hour. John Kincade Show. This is 97.5 The Fanatic. on this Thursday morning. This ain't bad either. Wouldn't be a good walk-up.
No.
But it's got a nice little beat to it.
I had U2 in my head this morning. That was the song in my head when I woke up. It wasn't this song. It was another one.
Why are songs in your head, do you think, when you wake up?
I don't know.
You said that
I
often.
swear I want to ask people about this. Am I the only one? Every single day I wake up, I have a song in my mind. And I don't know where it comes from. Sometimes it's songs that I hate that I have to reprogram my mind when I get in the car. I have to listen to another song so I'll get it out. I don't know. Every single
music.
day I wake up with a song in my head.
Do you remember dreams? Because I do.
Sometimes.
I rarely do.
Sometimes I do. Usually in naps I remember my dreams, but I don't remember if I don't remember my dreams.
I'll remember how I feel about the dream, but I rarely remember the details of the dream. Like I'll remember like
you woke up anxious.
I had like a crappy dream. Yeah, I had a weird dream. I had a sexy dream.
Oh wow.
Yeah, sometimes I have one of those.
There you go.
And I won't remember the details, but I'll remember how it made me feel.
Somebody's covered in Skittles.
I mean, I don't want to get into it, but
except in
I
California,
prefer it hard.
You wouldn't be able to have that one.
You can't have a sexy dream in California. But yeah, I usually remember how I feel about the dream.
If I ever remember a dream, it's always anxiousness about running late for a plane. Did you ever have the one where you're a grown man and you have something for school that you're like, that you didn't do for school that was due and you didn't turn it in?
I've had the school in my underwear.
School in your underwear. I've not had that one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because I'm comfortable.
I've had some sports dreams about high school where, like, I wasn't any good, and it disappointed the hell out of me. Like, I was watching a season go by, and I wasn't playing.
Okay.
That might have been true.
No, I don't think it was. We've heard about the exploits.
I know. He's Al Bundy.
No, Connor's Al Bundy. Connor's Al Bundy. No, because Bob never brags.
I don't bring up.
Bob doesn't brag.
Okay.
Connor's Al Bundy.
Okay.
Connor can give you stats from any season. He can give you ERAs from anything. That's Al Bundy.
Okay.
I had, not to bring it down, but like about a week after my dad died, I had an unbelievable, and I can never shake it. He came down to me fully dressed in what he wore. My dad always wore brown. My dad was always very nattily dressed, always shirt and tie and a jacket.
Right.
And just came down to me and said, look, you got to take care of this family now. It's up to you.
Oh, my gosh.
It was
unbelievable.
It was weird. It was really weird.
Well,
yeah. And I mean, as vivid can be. And I sat up straight in bed, and I just sat up straight like, oh, my God. And I'm not a firm believer in that and all that stuff,
right.
whatever. But, I mean, clear as day.
See, I do believe in that.
Yeah.
I completely believe
it made me start thinking about it, that's for sure.
Now, the thing is, too, didn't you say, did you or did you not find it after your dad's death, the album that he kept of your articles from your high school career and your college career?
No. What it was, sorry. My dad, my senior year of high school, had open heart surgery. My dad was always kind of sickly. My senior year of high school, he had open heart surgery. Back then, that kept you down for a long time. Once, it was early in the school year, so I then played basketball that year. When I got done that year of playing basketball and we had the awards ceremony and all that stuff, it was a Sunday afternoon. He presented me with a oh my God, what do you call it?
A photo album?
No, but it's a, what do you call it? Scrapbook.
Scrapbook.
Of every game that I played in high school, every story, everything, and it was meticulously cut out.
Kept them all.
Yeah, kept them all from my freshman year on, everything. Not just if I was in the story or in the paper or the box score that I was in, but all of them, all the games that I played. And my senior year, he kept the stats of every game. 18 points, 9 of 18 from the floor, 4 for 4 from the foul, whatever it was. And, yeah, he gave that to me. And then the year I played in college, he did the same thing. He took it back from me. I didn't sit there and look at it every day. So he took it back from me. And then at the end of that year, he gave it to me again with all the articles. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Hey, the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app has the odds, slots, bets, and games all coming together in perfect harmony right in your pocket. You can download it now at BetParks.com. March Madness continues tonight. I got a couple teams I really like, but what's Bob want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's corner.
My fault. I brought it up before the tournament started that I just felt myself being a little down on it. Like I wasn't as into it. And I think we kind of all agreed, like, yeah, we don't know why.
Right.
Is it because some of the locals aren't in it? Is it because since the pandemic, I don't know, following college basketball hasn't been whatever it is? Where are you guys now? Has anything changed? Because I got to admit, I was down in Baltimore last weekend to visit my sister, and my sister and my wife went to a shower. My brother-in-law and I went out to lunch, went back to the house. I sat and watched college basketball, for like 8.5, 9 hours, and found myself being like, oh, here it is.
Like you were back in.
I did. Do you guys have that feeling at all? And am I overstating not how out you were, but your maybe lack of excitement from years past?
I think, Pat, it's the same thing that you and I might share. I'm so disappointed that my alma mater's not in the mix anymore. That the tournament never was as important to me when my team wasn't in it, but I always enjoyed the action. Like tonight, I'm anxious to see Tennessee because I liked Tennessee. I'm anxious to see UCLA. I liked UCLA. Picked UCLA to win. So those type of things, now I'm just anxious to see it play out. But it's more of interest levels higher than it's been in a while. Since COVID, it's the highest interest level I've had.
Pat, did this tournament draw you in much at all or no?
No, not really. And a lot of what John said is true. What's going on now with the team that I cheer for, which is Temple, it's hard for me to even want to think about college basketball because it's kind of a dumpster fire over there right now. I think by the time next season starts, they will have interviewed a head coach.
At some point, they're going to need to.
And they might have enough guys to field a starting lineup. But, yeah, right now I don't want to think about college basketball.
Yeah, Sam Cassell from the Sixers took his name out of the running for the head coaching job.
Which I wonder how much of that was even...
I didn't even think he was...
Pompey had it. I guess they might have approached him.
I would have loved Sam Cassell.
Keith probably heard about it. It's a good name. If you guys are down on Temple right now, basketball, don't read Mike Jensen today in theinquirer.com because I read Pat the headline earlier. No coach, no players. Kind of a downtime for Temple basketball. Everybody went to the transfer portal, including Zach Hicks, who went to Camden Catholic, who friends with my daughter, and I know him very well.
And by the way, I do not blame the players for taking advantage of an opportunity until they see who the new coach is.
Yeah.
I don't. You have to, because don't you have to apply by a certain time to be in the transfer portal?
I believe so, yeah.
So, a lot of them are like look, they just want to keep their options open. And I have no problem. And it's my school that's going to potentially get screwed. I got no problem with it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. It makes sense. I'm just not happy about it.
No, I'm not happy about it either.
The fact they're dragging their feet this long about hiring a coach is, they're waiting guys out. So we're waiting a guy out to see if he takes a more, quote, lucrative deal. That's just a crappy situation. So it kind of killed my vibe for the tournament. And the team that I had, we all fill out a bracket. The team that I had winning it all is still alive.
Who is it?
I had Alabama.
Okay, I have UCLA.
What, winning it all?
Yeah.
I had Texas.
But
Texas?
Am I going to be dialed in tonight? No, probably not.
See, I think it's fascinating. So tonight's a 5 night. Tonight's when 1 should be versing 4 and 3 should be 2. You have a 7-3. You have an 8-4. You have a 9-4. And then Gonzaga UCLA at 9:45 is the 3-2 game that you're looking for. So I'm anxious to see that Gonzaga game tonight. I think they're going to have to dumb it down.
I don't want to see them win. Thank you. I think they're very tough come tournament time. That is a tournament tested program.
Yeah, it is.
Mark Few knows half court defense, offense as well as anybody.
Yeah, UCLA is a very athletic team. It's a contrast in styles. I always like to kind of look at the underdog in that and say, oh, man, but it's only 1.5. UCLA's favored by 1.5. So
and it's in Vegas. Oh.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. One of my nephews actually texted me yesterday. He got tickets to Madison Square Garden tonight. So he's going from Baltimore up to New York to see the game tonight.
Taking train?
Yeah.
I love the train.
Yeah, so do I.
Hey, 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by the Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. For details, go to Bagster.com. Where will Anthony Gargano be today? He'll be at the Parks Casino at the Sportsbook. So go on by up there at the Sportsbook, him and Chunas.
Yeah, I got to
be there
stop
today
up
and
there
tomorrow.
sometime.
It is absolutely beautiful. And I've told you, a Vegas aficionado, there are on the strip, the sports book at Bet Parks is as good as any you will find on the strip.
Nice.
It is fantastic. The big reclining chairs, Pat, like you would have at the theaters.
Yeah.
They have them in the sports book, so you can sit back, put your drink on it if you want. Sit back and watch a game on a big, comfy recliner. And there are lots of them everywhere you look. So plenty of space. No mice, though, Pat.
That's a
unlike that movie theater that you told me about, which now freaks me out. You can't do that?
I here. Let's add to the weirdness of me. I can't go to a movie if I were to go to movies or a sports
and recline.
Bar or whatever. I can't. No, I need that's gonna. I'll fall asleep.
I love the recliner at the movie.
I got to
theater.
sit at a sports book. I mean, I got to sit on a bar stool.
Okay, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's more. Obviously, it's not more comfortable, but I, honest to God, think I would fall asleep.
The Bagster. Go to Bagster.com. We've been talking today about the idea of they've been talking about the college players and how much money they're making and how much the likability factor has factored in to guys being able to go get their endorsements. So we did this earlier about the most likable. Who is the most non-likable in Philadelphia sports? And I'm going to open it to player, coach, owner, everything.
Sorry, current has to be current
right now.
Oh, I hate to talk ill of the living.
I know, but the thing is, though, is right now, if you were saying whose perception is the most unlikable of the Phillies, the Eagles, the Sixers, it could be an owner, it could be a coach, it could be a GM. Who's
I'll throw this out there because I think
I know who would have won a week ago. Chuck Fletcher.
Yeah,
might have won 1 week ago.
I'll put this out there because I don't think a lot of people understand where he's coming from.
Okay.
And I find sometimes him to be a little brash for my liking, and that's John Tortorella. Great coach. We all know that. Great coach, but we're talking about likability.
Likability?
I think he probably turns some people off more than most in this city. Now, look, you can be wildly successful. You can, and he is. He's successful. He's going to get a 700th career win coming up.
Tonight.
Could be tonight. I think his way of going about things while successful might turn a lot of people off. It leads to that, and he knows it. He knows that not everybody's going to love his style. So, therefore, likability, I would say he's one of probably more unlikable faces in this city.
The weird thing is that as a hockey guy and a hockey fan, he's one of my favorites, is that I love the attitude that he carries out. And I think he manages to execute whatever his plan is pretty well. But I can get that, rubbing people the wrong way. Pat, you have an idea? Because I thought this was hard because right now we have 3 teams in the city that are really exceptional, and I don't think the Flyers are moving the needle much either way. They're almost getting that apathy, which is the worst thing in the world.
Very apathetic. I do agree. It would have been Chuck Fletcher about a week ago.
Right.
I think now it's a guy we talked about a little earlier today, and I don't agree with it, but it's Doc Rivers.
It very well might be. It very well might be.
A lot of people do not like Doc Rivers and do not think that the Sixers will go very far because of Doc Rivers. They don't think he's a very good coach for whatever reason.
Right.
And I think when you look around the landscape of Philadelphia right now, there are a lot of likable guys out there. There's very few players or coaches or GMs that we dislike, but one guy that seems to universally take a lot of shrapnel is Doc.
Yeah, and which is funny. I brought this up earlier. We're lucky enough to get to know people a little bit more personally. He's one of the nicest dudes you'll ever. He's a really, really good dude. And I think he's had a pretty good coaching year this year. I'm not just saying because of their record. I think they've run their offense a little bit differently with Joel Embiid getting onto the foul line mostly and hitting from there. Tyrese Maxey continues to grow. Okay, he corrected a mistake. He may have made a mistake with B-Ball Paul. He seems to be correcting that now. Paul Reed last night, meaningless second half. He gave you really good minutes. Really 16 good, I put it in my notes, 16 good active minutes. They may have found a little spark there on that second unit with him. I think he's having a pretty good coaching year. Somebody on here has a great one.
Who?
Derek Barnett. Unlikable figure.
Yeah, he really doesn't. I guess
I think that's a great one.
That is a great one, but the thing is, I the other day was even thinking, my gosh, Derek Barnett's on this team next year. Like, he's part of this team. And you don't even think about him in the plan, in the rotational depth, that he's part of the team.
Yeah,
Derek
another
Barnett.
edge rusher
And
for you.
He was the guy who recovered that ball in the Super Bowl, one of the biggest plays, even though
I remember that play.
Even though it was Brandon Graham who was the orchestrator of it, that was a really difficult execution of a play.
Yeah.
That ball's bouncing around and everything like that. And how many times do you see a guy try to pick it up and run with it or whatever? He just flopped himself right on it.
But I put him in the kind of the Flyers category of apathy because he's out of sight, out of mind. He hasn't had a bonehead play in over a year because he hasn't been on the field.
Remember Nick Sirianni? It's always him.
It's always him.
And he says it into the headsets. And then Nick Sirianni backtracked on it. And said, that wasn't what I meant.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
no, that's what you meant.
Heat of the moment, it's what you meant. I have another one, and I think it'll change drastically this year. And you're on this boat. Nick Castellanos.
Okay, there's one.
Didn't have a good year.
And he didn't endear himself, personally to me, he isn't an endearing figure.
Yeah, didn't have a good year, is getting paid a lot of money, had the fallout with Jim Salisbury. I think people kind of soured on that. I think it will change for a couple of reasons. One, I don't think he's a bad dude. Listening to him talk with Anthony and all
great,
that. Yeah.
Wasn't it?
And then I think he's going to have a better year also. Therefore, his mood's going to change. Nobody's in a great mood when they're having a bad year. Well, so I think he'll change that perception, but I would say he might be up there right now.
I don't disagree with you on that. I'm pretty reaching at this point for names because, as we said, there's
they're really little, right?
Teams. Yeah, but Reese Hoskins is another guy that a lot of people are down on. But I don't think it's probably as many as maybe I think. But
and the thing is he unlikable?
And he's not.
Or
and that's
he's
the
just
thing.
not.
He's actually very likable.
He is very likable.
His wife is buying beers during the World Series for fans, and if you know anything about his backstory,
she's really likable.
Bob likes her the best. The hell with Reese.
He's a good dude, and he's likable, but he botched some plays, and a lot of people kind of want to usher him out. And
I don't like half of his game, but I really do think he's a likable guy. I've only interacted with him a few times, and I found him very likable. Seems very, very nice. Like, I don't think it's weird. This is a weird little dynamic, but the times that I've interacted with JT Realmuto, I don't find him to be very charming. Let's put it that way. A charming character.
Yeah,
he's to himself, but that could be to himself. It could be just a personality thing.
Yeah, and that's okay. You have to realize it. Different. Yeah. I think what this practice does, John, that you put out here, it shows, I think to me, how likable we are with how likable our city sports figures right now are. Well, I mean, we had to grasp at straws, and even the people we put out there might not even be so. It might not even be in the majority of unlikable. I think we're in a really good time in this city with the personalities of it. I brought up Tortorella because he's probably the most brash person we have in this city right now.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, I remember when, and I meant to ask Doc about it, remember when Doc said something about the people, when he was being questioned about people questioning him, and I forget what his exact answer was, but he was
he said you wouldn't ask Greg Popovich that one?
Yeah, I didn't find that likable at all. Because I don't know.
A lot of people didn't.
But the thing is that everybody has moments.
Sure.
And I don't think a moment should define you.
No, not at all.
Especially when Doc has been like honestly, and it's taking you behind the scenes here. There are not many NBA head coaches that would get up in the morning, get in a car, and come on over to be part of a local sports radio show and to be there in person. Be put up. Now, there's a lot that would say, if you're at my facility, I'll come and sit down with you and I'll give you 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I appreciate that kind of support, and it shows the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
He enjoyed meeting everybody that day. He enjoyed taking pictures with people. George Niang did too, by the way. Niang worked that room like he was running for mayor.
That's a dude that
he's really
that's
fun.
A guy that if you're on the beat and you have to travel all over the country, you're probably grabbing a beer or two with him throughout the season. Yeah.
Good dude.
Yeah, it seems like a very nice guy.
By the way, what's the rule on that?
On what?
When you're on a beat with an athlete, the idea of you want to be able to keep your distance to be objective, but sometimes those personal relationships pay off in a big, big way. And how do other guys look at it on the beat? When you're like when I worked for the Flyers, we were supposedly forbidden to do anything socially with players.
Yeah,
I worked with the coaching staff. We were told you are not to be, if it's a team function, we could, but we weren't supposed to be hanging out with the players in any way. And a lot of the players we were the same age as.
Yeah, there was a part of this ownership group when they came in that pulled some, not players, but workers aside and said, Cooney, don't talk to him.
Don't talk to him?
No, I know it for a fact. I saw it. Then I asked, and some people came clean and said, yeah, they told us they think I would ask that. It's a professional thing. I would never go to anybody on the sidelines of the Sixers for a source. I just wouldn't. I would, and I told you every time I met a player, I would go to them and say, hey, look, you know what my job is. I have to critique. I will praise. Unless you get personal with me, I'm not going to get personal with you.
Right.
That's just what it is. Like, I remember, what's his name? Spencer Halls. Like I've told you before, we'd go out for a beer. We wouldn't talk about basketball. I just wouldn't do it. It's not the time. It's not the place.
Right. Okay.
And if you're going to write something scathing or something like that, I would go to the person first and say, hey, I'm writing this, and I want you to comment on it. So as long as you're in the good standing, and look, there's guys that might not like you, so you wouldn't go out and have a beer or sandwich with them. So you kind of have to just be the professional, read the situation, not let anything affect what you do. Like TJ McConnell, yeah, great dude. Evan Turner, maybe my favorite of all time. I wrote bad stuff about them.
What did they say when you did?
McConnell would come over and just give me a really? And I'm like, oh, you shot 3 for 15 last night? I'm not supposed to mention that? Or Evan Turner, I wrote a story about how I thought he was misperceived. He gets booed. And I wrote in the story, I understand you booing him as a basketball player. He was the number 2 overall pick. He is not performing to that level. However, when it gets to personal, so I wrote that story. And he came over and we talked it out. And I said, am I wrong? And I'm asking you honestly, do you think you've performed up to what this city expected you as a number 2 pick? And he's like, I can't say what this city expected. I can say I'm giving my best. I say, I hear you.
Well, that's a different story. You didn't say he wasn't giving his best.
Right. So there's the back and forth that you have, and you hope that everything's on the up and up. And sometimes it's not.
Do you ever, Pat, have you ever met an athlete that, without giving name, that you really dug him as an athlete, and then you met him and you were like, don't really dig him?
Athlete, probably. I mean, the people that I've met in this industry, in terms of and normally it's ex-athlete turned trying to media member. People that I've met that I didn't like, or I could probably count on one hand.
Because it happens in the media all the time.
Yeah, and I was about to say, it's the media members,
and our
actually.
Media members...
immediately when you brought this up, one particular media member came to mind right away. I won't say who he is, but immediately, this guy... It's
a male.
Plays it off like he is just, everybody's friend, and in reality, he is the biggest J.O. The self-entitlement of this guy would shock people.
Have you, been in contact with him?
I've seen it firsthand.
Throughout your career, though? You see him often?
I've seen it firsthand in the sense of, him calling up, not wanting to hold for 30 seconds, hanging up, calling back, and saying, are they going to go to me or not?
Wow.
I thought you were making a joke.
No, I'm not.
That's
I'm
not
dead
good.
Serious. Yeah.
Oh,
And then as soon
I thought
as
you
he
were
gets
talking
on,
about
no. As soon as he gets on,
I was looking at you, and you're looking at me. We're thinking, oh.
No, you guys are. And Bob, I've told you this, in all seriousness, Bob was one of the best guys to reach out to when he was covering the beat, because I'm producing weekend sports radio. It's tough to get guests to, hop on Saturdays, and Bob was always more than kind to jump on, and sure, no problem, or he would work with you about, hey, I can't do this time, but I can do this time. He was great to reach out to. And then you've got other guys who you reach out to, and they just never respond.
Oh, I can't wait for the break. We have some gossiping to do, Mr. Egan.
Yeah, there's some people on the hit list.
Hey, we're heading into the final stretch of the morning, and it's presented by Stretch Zone. It's stretch day today, 11:30.
Nice.
Hey, you want to relieve sore muscles, increase your flexibility and range of motion? Yes, I do. Book your free 30-minute stretch session today at stretchzone.com. It's free. There's no catch. Go do it, and I promise you're going to fall in love with Stretch Zone. Check it out. All right, coming up, we got more on the Phillies as we head 1 week to the opener. Plus, Sixers opened up a 4-game road trip last night with a dominant victory. We'll get to that and more. John Kincade Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. We are 1 week away from the Phillies opener. We're 2 weeks away from the Phillies home. Flyers in the Wild tonight, 6:30 on The Fanatic. We appreciate you hanging out with us all day long. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. You made a big fan this morning of Danny, Coach, for removing the horns music from Pat's. He said that's a great move. He goes, now if you could just get rid of the stupid hello.
The what?
He says the hello.
What's the hello?
That thing that runs during our promos. He says if you could just get rid of that stupid hello that runs during your promos.
All right. We'll see.
He said that's the next thing. He hated the horns. He said, I love Pat, and I found it distracting.
All right, I guess I expect our ratings to skyrocket now.
Now that the horns are gone. I loved it.
Look, some people aren't horny, and that's fine. I'm one of them. I am. Some people aren't into it.
I like it.
You got to be horned up.
I like the, I sort of like the energy of the horn.
Bob isn't horny.
Bob's not?
Coach isn't.
Not anymore.
But I am. So it's an acquired taste, but we changed it up?
I think of horns when I look at you, Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You know what Bob's is very much, though, about? He's about the, like, doing good things in the community. And the Aussies for Autism that you heard about yesterday is a big event coming up again on Saturday, April the 22nd at aussiesforautism.com. This could be a really nice event, Bob.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's a food festival hosted by G'day Gourmet. And it's going to feature this dude. He's like 6'8". He's like 360 pounds. His name, Jordan Mailata. Yeah, John, you're right. It's Saturday, April 22nd. It's noon to 6 p.m. It's at the Lighthouse Sports Complex. That's at 101 East Erie Avenue in Philly. You're going to have carnival games, bouncy houses, live music, just a ton of fun for families. Mailata's going to be there, as is his offensive line mate, Landon Dickerson.
Wow.
Two big dudes. They say Mailata might even be singing.
Oh, wow, that'd be awesome.
And both of those big men, they're going to be competing in an Australian meat pie eating contest. So that'll be fun to look at. It's run by Kids Coalition. The proceeds are going to benefit local children with autism and families in need. Kids 12 and under, they get in free. For others, tickets are only $10. What you do is you go to aussiesforautism.com. And if you're, if you have a family member that has autism, we all know that when we can get together and understand each other and what everybody's going through, it's always a special time. And if you're not, if you want to come out and just lend a hand, maybe make a donation, whatever it may be, as I said, my plight has always been, since our son was diagnosed so many years ago, just to educate people about what the people who have autism, who are on the spectrum, are going through, and make us all understand a little bit better what's going on, not only for those kids or adults, but also for their families. And everybody needs a little help every once in a while, so it sounds like a great day. April 22nd, noon to 6 o'clock.
I just bought my tickets for it.
There you go. See?
Good man.
And Jameel was a lot of fun yesterday.
Jameel Owens, phenomenal. And I talk about this, like, kinship that you have. You know, if I meet somebody and they say, oh, I have a son with autism also, there's automatically a connection. And first thing you do is ask, and how's it going? And how's your family doing with it all? Jameel's doing great. His son's doing really well.
That's awesome.
And that's what you want to hear. You just want to hear that things are going well. It's a difficult fight. But Jameel's phenomenal at it, and he's out there to help people, and that's what it should be all about.
Pretty good on air, too.
He's good, yeah.
He was good.
Yeah.
Big Philly sports fan.
I got called into a meeting afterwards, and I thought my tenure was being cut short for him.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's today's meeting.
So
No. We have no Zooms today. We have nothing today. So we're set. I don't think there's anything.
Yeah, you didn't get the.
Oh, I didn't get it? Oh, geez. Well, then that's really bad.
If you didn't get the email.
If you guys got it, then that means it's me.
All right, speaking of the office.
Normally we say hand in your key card, but just hand it to Connor.
Exactly. Yeah, right?
Well, Connor could, you know what? Why doesn't he just take heavy Chevys?
Well, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. Wow, that's cold. The body's, that's rough.
Chevy wants out. So why don't we just take it? I mean, it's like, look, he chose to leave the family. Now, by the way, I don't blame him in the least. I'm glad to see him getting it free.
He's got mouths to feed.
I'm glad to see him. No, he doesn't.
He's got brothers and sisters to take care of. How many brothers?
He only has brothers.
6?
I don't think there's any sisters.
6? He's got 6 brothers
6 or 7.
to take
it's
care
like
of.
too much. I think they're all doing very well, in fact.
If we can just real quickly go a little bit more inside what our life is in here in the office. I am getting accused of something, and I don't like it.
What are you getting accused of? Did you?
So yesterday I went over to one of our assistants, Mary Beth's desk, to say hi to her. I go to say hi to she and
MBG.
Jen every day.
Yes.
And I go over there, and she has stuff all over the place. There's laminate things.
Oh,
it
yeah,
looks
yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean, on her computer, on the floor, on her seat.
Distracted.
And I said, God, what the hell happened here? She goes, I don't know. Somebody sabotaged my desk. Then I go over today to say hi, and she said, it was you. Well, no shit. And like shining her flashlight on her phone in my eyes, tell me it was you. It was you. I'm like, oh my God, I just came over to say
You got
hi.
accused of sabotaging your desk?
I need to see the proof. Like, what are you talking about here?
Hey,
So
snitches get
she-
stitches, man. Old rules.
she and I
Snitches
are
get
meeting
stitches.
in a room after work. Jen is going to be there also to make sure, it doesn't get too
mediate.
heated.
Is
Yeah,
that
but
considered inclusion?
I got to tell you, she has a picture hanging up of this goofy-ass guy with a Phillies hat on and a stupid smile and all that. And I'm like, how could you not accuse him?
First of all, it's an autograph photo.
It's
It
an
is. You
autograph
did
photo,
autograph
Patty,
it,
again.
Pat.
I would
Yes.
never, ever do that to her.
I wouldn't.
I don't know why
ever-
she thinks I would. Would you?
No.
come to
I
me?
would no, but I would never touch. Like, I don't understand. Like when the hacky sacks disappear from the desk or something, I would never touch something on someone else's desk. Move it, take it without permission. I may borrow it if there was a stapler. Borrow it. I would not touch someone else's stuff in the workplace. I never understand that.
So among all of us, we'll include Chevy and Connor and Coach also, all of us, like who's the most likely candidate to do something like that?
Jen. I think Jen.
We're including Jen?
I think Jen may have done it. I
No.
think Jen may. You don't think so? Maybe Jen did it just to mess with her a little bit?
She's saying no. She's behind
She
it
says
right
she
now.
did not do it.
I will
But she says she did not.
I mean, I don't trust Josie at all. I'll tell you
Oh,
that.
no, that's
But I'm
the
just
truth.
talking, it had to be in our cluster because it was early in the morning.
Yeah. Well, okay, yeah. Josie doesn't usually show
And
up
I've been,
there.
and I've been like, had twice this week. Just had like, I have shrapnel coming at me from the sales thing, so I've been sort of staying away. So I know that's not even my area.
No, I don't think you would do it. I think
I would
Pat's
never
our
touch
number
it.
one choice. Connor would be number two in
Okay,
my
you
book.
know what, dude? Now I'm pissed off.
No, I'm not. I'd say
No,
you do it in
no,
fun.
Don't sit here and do it. Oh, no. I'm just, you're sitting here pointing fingers to try to deflect the fact that you were the one who did it. Just own up to it, man. Own up to it. You
Where
did
the
it.
hell do you guys get
I don't leave this
facts
studio.
that I did it?
I don't leave this studio, and now you're sitting here.
You just
accusing
struck
me.
out.
Oh,
You
let's
just
air
struck out Connor
our
3
dirty
straight
laundry.
batters.
Yeah,
You
but I
do
don't-
leave
but
that
I don't-
studio.
I don't go out there. I don't go to her
All right,
desk.
let's get
I
back
have no
to
reason
sports.
to go to her desk.
Maybe this is where.
now you want to get back to sports, huh? After sitting there pointing fingers at everybody in the office, now you want to go back to. No, let's dig into this more, Bob.
Maybe this
I
is
don't think
where.
John did it or Coach did it.
Maybe this is where.
I don't like you anymore, man.
Now, here's the weird thing: is if she finds a key card underneath her chair, that's not hers.
That's his calling card.
Then we're going to know who it is because I think it's now is Connor, holes in the pockets. That's part of it.
Well, his pants are so tight that you can read his key card through his
You can see that he's
His
9,
sweats or his
9,
jeans or-
7,
yeah,
A,
exactly,
C. Seriously, he's got his Lululemons on. He's out there pitching.
Did you do it?
No, I have no reason to go. I only go over there after the show, and I just say hi, and that's it.
I don't think Pat would do it. Pat would be one of the least that I would suspect of that.
Who would be your number two?
I'm mature, Bob.
Well, I think since I'm just in the point of like, hey, don't let the doorknob hit you. Could it be Chevy out of character now? Going on a rampage on his way out the door. On the way out the door, figuring they can't fire me. I already quit. Maybe that's it.
I want to fight you.
Maybe Chevy's going off the deep end.
Crumb bum.
Connor would be my number two choice.
Oh yeah.
I think Connor's my number. Well, my number two after Bob.
After
She's so adamant that it was Bob that I have no reason to not believe her.
because she is a very even keeled, smart
She's our
person.
MVP.
She is. And
Yeah, it was me.
there you go. And it was
What?
Yeah, it was me.
it was Bob.
So you sit here, you little rat.
No, I was just seeing
no,
what
he admitted
I
it.
was seeing what the people thought, like who they would blame first. I
He
think I would
admitted
be
it.
low on the list.
No,
this might be
no,
the
not about
closest-
that. Not
this
a
might be
prank.
the closest I've ever come to cursing on the air.
All right, let's get back to sports.
Let's do it. Hey, when someone gets hurt, we know who to call. But what about a mental health crisis? The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers free confidential support around the clock. Don't hesitate. Call 988. In Cooney's Corner, The Sixers and the Phillies, we've gone through this exercise, so let's do it.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's corner.
All right, you cool with this?
Yes, I like this.
All right, good. It's going to take a couple minutes, but this
Sure,
will be
it's
fun.
fine. This will be
We
good.
did it yesterday with the Sixers, your all-time Sixers starting five. Let's go around the diamond. Now, same rules apply, Patrick. You've had to have seen this person play. If I could speak, it would be an even better exercise. All right, all-time greatest Philly. Pat, you'll go first at first base. We all may agree on this one.
Ryan Howard.
Done.
All right, Pat, John, and myself, we all agree. Second baseman.
Chase Utley.
Patrick?
Yes.
No question about it?
No question. Well, Tadahito Iguchi makes a run, but yeah, we'll go Chase.
I guess
Manny
there's no,
Trio, are you going? No, I mean,
There's no one.
No,
there's no one better.
No,
All
that's
right.
it.
This one might be a little bit fun. Shortstop.
Jimmy Rollins. Larry Bowe would be in the mix. Jimmy Rollins is the man.
It's tough because Didi Gregorius was here, but yeah, I'll go J-Roll.
Yep. All right, so far we're 3 for 3. Let's go third base.
Mike Schmidt.
This will change because, yes,
Michael Jack Schmidt, no question.
probably the greatest the greatest third baseman of all time. But, Pat, you're going to have somebody different because you did not see
I did not see him, so I'm
Schmitty
going
play.
Scott Rowland.
Okay, 2 Hall of Famers there. That's not bad. All right, let's go outfield. Have to be left field, center field, right field. Can't be a guy that,
Oh, okay.
Left fielder. I'll tell you what, the outfield's kind of tough.
This is really hard.
And let's remember that they've had 2 homegrown outfielders that have made the All-Star game in Greg Luzinski and going into last
It's got to be
year, in Greg
Luzinski.
Luzinski and Brown.
Are we doing a DH?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, Greg Luzinski would be the left fielder then. He'd have to be. Wouldn't he?
Pat Burrell?
I'm torn. Personally, I didn't see.
You didn't see
Right, you didn't see Luzinski.
So I'm very torn between Pat Burrell and Kyle Schwarber. And the only reason I'm not picking Kyle Schwarber is I've
One
seen
year.
one season of him.
Right.
I mean, the longevity of Pat Burrell, I have to give the edge to Pat Burrell.
So you and I come down to Luzinski and Burrow. I already have my answer
I'm
in.
going Luzinski.
All right, I got Pat Burrow.
Okay.
First one that
I'm
we...
not, and I don't object to that.
Yeah. All right, center fielder.
Shane Victorino.
Wow, it's Shane Victorino, Lenny Dykstra with me. And I hate voting for Lenny
Gary
Dykstra.
Maddox?
No. Not for me. And that's terrible, but I just always think of more defense, just defense in my mind. And whether
Yeah.
that's unfair or not. I never think of Gary Maddox winning games with his bat.
This is a really
hard.
tough one.
That's really
I can't. Look, you talked about bias earlier in this show, John. I feel like I can't go with Lenny Dykstra because of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth, but I have to. I'm not casting the church choir.
All right, so who are you, Pat, center field?
Shane Victorino.
John, you're doing Dykstra?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go Victorino also.
Okay.
Yeah. Right field. I think this one's easy.
You think it's easy?
Yeah.
Jason Worth?
No, I don't have him.
I'm going to say, like, if it's easy, I'm trying to think if there's a surprise because I think there's a lot of different candidates. Would you?
I mean, I had 2 immediately come to mind. Worth wasn't one of them.
Well, Worth is pretty awesome.
He was.
I
have
got
2
you.
that are better.
Okay.
So the guy that I put in there was Bryce Harper. You win an MVP.
Yeah.
He gives you the edge over Bobby Abreu.
Those are the exact 2 that I had.
And
Bobby
the reason I
Abreu is
asked
right
about
there in the
DH
mix.
was I want to put Bobby in here and put Bryce in the DH, but with no DH, then I give the edge to Bryce
Harper's
'cause he's an MVP.
stupid on my part.
That's fair.
That's just flat out stupid on my part.
Why do you say that? What do you mean stupid?
Because he shouldn't be in the mix. Harper's on a whole nother level than any of the other guys.
Harper, Abreu, // I mean, Abreu did it for a longer time, obviously.
Right.
He's 1A to me. I got Harper, yeah. All right, catcher.
This isn't tough.
It's not tough for you?
No.
You just going Chooch?
No, I'm going JT. And that's in considering the defense as well as the offense. I'm going JT. And I love Chooch, but
are we forgetting a former friend?
I didn't really
Darren
see him all
Dalton?
that much.
Oh, that's a good
4
point.
years
You
old
didn't.
in
Yeah.
93, so I
Exactly.
didn't really-
Darren Dalton's got to be in the mix, but I think it's going to be JT. but I think Chooch is right there.
I got to take Dutch over Chooch. Dutch was a great defensive catcher, a clutch RBI guy. I mean, Chooch, he hit a little bit in the playoffs and stuff, but we're mostly talking about a defensive catcher.
No question.
And you have to consider, too, the team leadership that Dutch gave you.
Yeah, somebody said Bob Boone here. I saw Bob Boone play. You did, too.
Yeah.
He was a slappy hitter that I didn't. Right. He was a very good, great catcher, but I don't have him. I don't have Sal Fasano, as Jim G said. I think I got to go Dutch.
Rod Barajas.
By the way, what's the Sal Fasano feud with Tunis? Because I've always wanted to get.
Tunis thinks that he was not overrated, but he didn't like the fact that a quote crappy catcher had a fan base.
Okay.
Because he had Sal's pals. He bought them pizza. It was cool.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe
that. That's a violation on Sal Tunis.
I couldn't believe the Tunis yesterday with his phone number.
I know that was pretty good. So Pat, who's your catcher?
JT.
Okay, and
JT's
John, who did you have?
JT's going to win it. I have to give it to him.
Okay. All right. Again, longevity, all of that. I'll go Dutch on that. All right, your right-handed starter.
I mean, this isn't tough for me either.
Yeah, I think we're
Holiday.
I think that's who I have.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know we were doing righties lefties.
Okay, see,
well,
that's
what
you're here for.
As far as a starting pitcher, I put him in.
I got you. Longevity. Like, I guess I'm just thinking of like all time.
I'll tell you what, though.
I
even if you
Halladay
go all time,
I think consider Halladay to be more of a. It was quick and it was done.
It was, and I've heard that a lot in my time.
I think he's on the wall of honor.
There's another right-handed pitcher if you're going a little longevity.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Kurt Schilling.
Yeah.
It's got to be considered.
I think Schilling has more tenure there.
I got to say, I think if you're being honest,
Schilling
it's probably got to be Schilling.
I think so, too.
Yeah, you're probably right. I guess I would have to give the edge to Schilling. I mean, but the most dominant pitcher I ever saw with those pinstripes was Doc.
I was surprised, though, watching. I was surprised that Halladay went up on that wall.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at that, if you're playing the Sesame Street game, one of these things, and it's the organization, I was surprised he went up on that wall.
All right, left-handed pitcher, John, I'm going to do something. There's no question it's Steve Carlton, but we're taking him out just for fun's
Carlton's
sake.
Not allowed in.
So Carlton's out, and Pat, you didn't see him anyway. Carlton's out only because he's such an obvious answer. What do you got, Pat? Who should we start with? Should we start? All right, we'll start with Pat.
I have to go Cole because of longevity. He had a longer stint over Cliff Lee.
What was it, 8 years of Cole?
No, he came up in 2005, and then he got traded in 2012.
And talk about bias. I like it because you said the word. Yeah. He came up. Came up in this organization. Yeah. I think it's also Hamels taking out Carlton. I mean, what else?
Would Hamilton? No.
Randy Wolf?
No, he was so mediocre.
Yeah.
The Wolf.
Pride of Pepperdine.
The Wolf Pack.
Yeah. Other good lefties? Hasn't been a whole lot. No. Jamie Moyer was only here for a couple years. He did win 16 games the year that they won the World Series. But no.
I'd go Jamie Lynch over.
Cliff Lee's not bad, but again, longevity. Randy Lurch isn't on the list. He was
Randy Lurch.
He was a good hitter.
47?
Yeah. It was funny. He was friends with one of my neighbors, so he would give us tickets to go to games all the time when I was a little kid.
Really?
Yeah. All right. Here's a good one now. Closer.
So this was really tough for me, and I hated my answer.
It's got to be.
All right. Therefore, should I let John go first?
You can do whatever you wish on this one.
All right, go ahead, John. I'll give it to you then.
It's got to be, to me, it's got to be Brad Lidge.
Longevity, we're only talking.
Longevity doesn't, correct.
Yeah.
Longevity doesn't play into it.
And we did see the all-time leading Phillies save guy here.
I cannot go Jonathan Papelbon because, first of all, meaningful, meaningless stats matter to me.
Okay.
And I would actually say Bedrock would be.
Bedrock is a very good one. He won a Cy Young here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pat?
I hate the fact that I picked Jonathan Papelbon.
Yeah.
But as you said, I saw the guy set the record. He was really good here, too.
He was.
And there's you talked about the meaningless games, and it was. I mean, they were that was literally they signed him and the window was shut. But he had proven that he could pitch in meaningless and meaningful games.
I got you.
And I think the guy was a J.O.
Oh,
I mean, he was
can't
such a
stand
jerk,
him.
but he's probably, he's. And the fact that Brad Lidge had a good year, a bad year,
Good year.
a good year. Yeah, he was inconsistent.
Would you take Billy Wagner over Brad Lidge?
He was only here for 1 year now.
Wagner was only here one?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was like a 2 or 3 guy.
No, he was only here one.
Okay.
And then that rat went to the Mets after getting in a fight with Arthur Rhodes.
And the Braves. He did them all.
Yeah, I don't like him.
He did them all. Like, I got to tell you, didn't want to like Billy Wagner and ended up covering him and loved him.
I told you the story.
Loved him. He was fantastic to deal with. He couldn't have been any better to deal with and Pat, I went in holding my nose, not wanting to like him, just thinking I'm not going to like this guy. Completely won over, loved Billy Wagner.
I saw an incident at CBP with him and a fan that just clinched it for me. If this guy needs to.
And by the way, though,
punched.
That one incident can change everything. That one moment can change.
I already
but it
didn't
can.
like him.
Yeah, but the thing is, it can either reinforce, or it can change perceptions.
I
You know what I
already
mean?
didn't like him, and then he starts getting into it with a fan, challenging him to come down to the field and fight him, and it was like, all right, bud. You can go anywhere in the ballpark you want. You're asking the fan to come on the field and get arrested? Stop. Let's logically think about this.
That doesn't really work out.
No.
So go
But he
meet
was
him.
really good.
Go meet him in the parking lot. So
Yeah,
he had
mean the
2
parking lot.
years with the Phillies. I was just looking
one,
it
I'm
up.
sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, had 38 saves with them. I'm wrong here. 21 saves with them 1 year, 38 the next.
a farmer in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a farmer.
He's a big farmer.
He's a D3 guy.
But he's got a big farm, and he actually is a farmer, and he runs his farm. By the way, Craig Kimbrell, a farmer, also a farmer. Now will be a pitcher for the Phillies.
How about that?
Craig he is a huge Alabama football fan, like a Alabama bibliophile. So Craig would do our show with us for 3 years. Craig was part of our show in Atlanta every week, and he would want to say, "Yeah, let's talk some Braves." And then it's like, can we talk college football? Like he loves pro football, college football, everything.
It's amazing when you get some pro athletes on, and we've had this happen where they really don't have any interest in talking about the sport they play or the team they play for. They want to talk about other sports.
He wanted to talk about it, and Craig Kimbrell was a huge Alabama fan. Loves college football, loves the college football playoff, everything like that. So we'll look forward to getting a chance to connect with Craig when the season comes around.
A follower on YouTube has a good point.
What's that?
How did we not say Ricky Bo would be our closer?
Well, I mean, I don't think Ricky Bo would say he's the closer.
I don't know.
What do you think?
He was an all-star in 1996.
He was.
Well, who would you have setup guy? Would you have Ricky setup guy?
Oh, that's good.
Oh, Ricky be good. Yeah,
I had Ryan Madsen.
So
as a
I was
setup
just
guy.
going to say, I think
love
I had
Ryan
Madsen.
Madsen.
Yeah, I think I'd have him there.
All right,
Great set. Romero was really good in the setup
JC,
job as a lefty.
I would consider him in the lefty spot.
Yeah.
Now, all right, now let's go bullpen catcher. Who do you have? Jesus Tiamo. I mean, to me, is the
Cesar Romero, the best joker, too.
He was into some kinky stuff. That Cesar Romero.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you off air what he. Yeah.
Really?
The Joker,
well-known,
Cesar Romero?
Oh, he was into like.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you off. I because of FCC, I don't want to even.
Because he
touch
says,
it, but yeah, you can look.
delicious.
You can look into
Oh,
what
I remember
Cesar
this.
Romero
Really?
Does it have
yeah.
to do with the glass table?
Yes, glass
Okay,
table.
I do
Joker?
remember this.
Someone
Really?
maybe relieving themselves.
Well, really, the Joker.
On said glass table.
Yeah, so he would lay under the table.
But it wouldn't be Batman.
I don't
Was
know
it
if look.
Adam
we
West?
don't kink shame on this show.
King Kenzo. Thank you for giving me the Ricky Bo name.
Yeah, I guess
He's
what,
upset
Ricky.
that I didn't
Hope
mention
Ricky
his name.
Bo wasn't listening. I mean, we didn't even.
He's got to
look,
be. He's got to
in
be
the
up
mix.
there.
He's in the mix. Yes.
Yeah.
He's under consideration, absolutely.
He is. By the way, did you hear 10-second song yesterday on the best show ever? They played.
No, I was
they
running
play
around.
every Wednesday. Well, every Wednesday I'm driving back down to Temple for school, so I get to hear 10-second song. One of my favorite things. Yesterday, Dylan sang every song.
I heard him sing last week,
So
Dylan.
Dylan
Yeah.
was singing it, and it was fun to be able to try to figure that out. Now, I put a challenge to Dylan. How about having the addition that they play the 10-second song, and it's rap songs with Anthony Gargano reading the lyrics?
Okay, I gotta cut you off here because thank God you brought this up. I have had this in my folder for 2 weeks.
What's that?
And I have forgotten to play it. This might be the funniest audio we have ever had.
Okay, I like this.
On the station.
Let's end with
and
it.
This is a prime example of why you should listen to the best show ever and 10-second song. This was our own D-Train, Dylan McKinnon.
Yayo, yayo, ooh la la la, yayo. Bitch better have my money.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that is awesome.
Dylan doing Cardi B is something that we need more of in this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll try
Everyone
anything.
loves-
You got to give D-Train.
Everyone loves Dylan McKinnon.
Yayo, yayo,
Yayo.
ooh la la la, yayo.
Yeah.
Bitch better have my money.
Come on, Dylan.
So little do we
Yeah.
know that Dylan is actually the person that they're having the key card fiasco with.
Really?
Yeah, like if you want a new key card,
You gotta go to Dylan?
You don't email Rodney or Tony Perrone. You email Dylan, and he simply just emailed Connor back and just said,
Hey, bitch better have my money.
That is
the first time I heard that, I could not stop laughing.
That is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, Dylan's a great sport.
Dylan
Yeah,
knows how to entertain.
he does.
It's very entertaining.
Here's another good one on closers. How about Mitch Williams?
The problem with Mitch is
I find it's funny. There's some guys that we didn't even mention, you know?
Okay, come on.
Yeah,
Well, there's others. Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that we
Little
didn't
Joe Carter
mention
thing.
the fact that we didn't mention Mitch Williams is an oversight.
Let's go, Jose Mesa. Where you at?
Well, yeah, you could go
Like
Joe.
to me, I think Steve Bedrosian is maybe the best case.
Bedrock
other
won
than-
a
other than
Cy Young out of the
Papelbon.
bullpen. That's pretty cool.
Other than Papelbon,
Yeah, Bedrock
that's the
was
best
good.
case to be made.
Yep, and was on that World Series team that went to the World Series in '83 with John Denny and Steve Carlton
Oh, my
heading up that
gosh.
starting.
And the Sarge in left field.
Pat, somebody on here is saying it's Rihanna. It's not
Wait a minute,
Cardi
that
B.
is Rihanna.
All right, yeah, sorry.
No,
That
that's
is.
all right. I just wanted to make sure we were on
Oh
base
my
here. That's all.
gosh.
Yeah,
That
it
is
Rihanna.
great.
Oh, whatever.
Dylan,
I don't
Dylan
think
is
you come to me for Rihanna Cardi B knowledge anyway. So
Dylan is an entertaining. He's an entertaining fool.
Good dude.
He is awesome. That's very fun. I love 10-second song. That is a
lot of fun.
That is a fantastic.
people are like really upset about this Rihanna Cardi B fiasco.
Oh, really?
Like it's
I just saw one person said, "Hey, Pat, it's
Rihanna. Pat, Jesus Christ. Sorry, dude.
Oh,
sorry. When you're hearing Dylan McKinnon sing it, you forget who actually sung it in the first place.
Well, you know what's funny is
My
that
bad.
people. I can tell you this, and the best show ever will have to answer to this. I think less people win playing 10-second song with Dylan singing the words.
Because I can see why.
find it because I find it harder because usually when Dylan's singing the words, I'm laughing. So I'm driving along in my car and I'm laughing
with you, Dylan, not at you,
and it
laughing
makes me-
with you.
And it makes it harder for me to just, but it raises my enjoyment level of the segment even more. So the payoff is very, very strong.
When I used to host Quizzo, I would have a round of Guess the Lyric.
Okay.
But I would read it as deadpan as possible. And without the music in the background and me just reading the lyrics without the rhythm or whatnot, it was very tough, actually.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to have, I thought it would be a funny thing to have 10-second song with Anthony Gargano reading rap lyrics. That would be tremendous.
Anthony loves his 80s rap and stuff like that.
80s
Like,
rap. He's old
huge.
school, loves his rap.
Yeah, and he's really knowledgeable on it. It's pretty
But
cool.
Anthony, I think, would be hilarious to just, if he was delivering it just deadpan. Anthony's just reading it, no expression, just an Anthony voice.
Anthony reading some Cardi B.
Would just be, that's just tremendous. So what do you want to do today? You want to go to Bet Parks, go up to the casino. It is an absolutely awesome sports book. And you go and you hang out today because they're celebrating all of the March Madness action that's going to be going on the next couple nights. And so Tunis and Cuz will be out there, and you get a chance to meet them. And I saw Mike from Delran. I meant to tell you that the other day that I saw Mike. He was up there, went and saw Cuz and Tunis, and that was great.
Mike asked me to retweet his thing, but I didn't have the guts down like, Mike, I'm not real comfortable doing that.
The content?
From like a company. Yeah,
don't do
it
that.
was. I'll just tell you, if you get a chance, check out Mike from Delran, and if you
Mike
see
from
the
Delran.
comedy beat, it was Oh, it was really funny.
He's proud of himself trying it. And by the way, Pat, you've said it. It was the longest 5 minute. I did a 5-minute set, and it was the longest of my life.
Yeah, I respect anybody that gets up there.
It was terrible for a fundraiser.
No, thank you.
Hey, remember to support life-saving cancer research. Join us and our generous partners, All Seasons Comfort Control, and make a donation to the AACR today. 97.5thefanatic.com/AACR, because cancer research saves lives. It's a Friday tomorrow. This week's gone pretty fast. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Sixers in action tomorrow, too. John Kincade Show. Have a great, great Thursday, everybody.